Everybody, he'll be here all week. Tip your bar and wait staff. Try the veal before you go as well. You know, Michael, what they say about Sterling is anytime there's a light on, he's got a tight five for you. You know what I mean? He opens up the refrigerator and boom. Hey, everybody, I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired. Let me grab the milk.
That's why I need everyone to have an 8-drink minimum.
That's right. That's what it is. So you are funny.
Yeah, if you have an 8-drink minimum, no one cares.
We get people toasted before the show. When we're on remote, we serve shots of liquor to everybody there so that at least we have an audience that thinks we're funny.
Yeah.
The listeners probably don't, but those in attendance, they're toasted. They're ready to go. Anything's funny at that point. We wonder, and we'll talk about if KU fans find it funny, Flory taking some visits. He's heading to Louisville. He's heading to Oregon. He's heading to St. John's. Is he going to follow the path of Zuby?
Yeah.
Because, you know, Zuby left because of Embiid, and then does Flory then follow Zuby
because of Czech Diallo?
Because of Danny Manning.
Oh, okay.
You know, look, Flory doesn't want to stay at Kansas when he's got to deal with Danny Manning playing there. Nobody wants to. When he's got to deal with Wilt, and you understand because Wilt goes and he can score 100 points in a game, so you understand why Flory wouldn't want to stay and play behind Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, when you have a head coach like James Naismith, it's just he's hard.
That's right.
He's hard.
And usually you don't want to be behind Wilt Chamberlain because there's nothing left after that. So we'll see what Flory does. Heading to Louisville on Friday, then Oregon, then St. John's. And I do wonder from the KU's perspective, KU fans' perspective, do you want him back, or is it just like, you know what, you did this last year, you're doing it again this year, good riddance. You know, it also depends on who you get in the portal. Because if KU ends up without somebody that can be a rim protector and NBA size, at that point you might be going, damn, would be nice to have Flory and how great he was defensively and what he allowed that team to do. So we'll talk about those things. I do want to get into the Peter Schrager mock draft. He put that out a couple of days ago. We didn't get into it yesterday, but he's a man after my own heart because we've talked about this. You know who my number one receiver is. It's why I love Jake Gutierrez. I mean, he and I, when it comes to wide receivers, we're the savants of it. He and I both have long had Jordan Tyson as our number one receiver. And Peter Schrager has the Chiefs taking Jordan Tyson at number 9. I haven't been the biggest Carnell Tate fan. I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't scream and yell and throw a fit like a child if they took Carnell Tate like I did when they drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I threw a fit like a child
I did
on
too.
the draft coverage we had that night. And
I was watching with one of my good friends because I said if they draft running back, I'm throwing a fit. And they drafted, and he got in my face. He's like, "Oh, it's a great pick!" And then
you laid down and you pounded.
Like
Nancy Kerrigan on
2 or 3 years later, he was like, "Sterling, you are 100% correct."
Yeah, and I'm like, I remember the conversation we had right after that pick. I'm like, the Chiefs in the NFL, there is no such thing as a luxury pick. There is never a luxury pick. And they take running back now, but I guarantee next year we're going to go, boy, wish they had this position taken care of. And it happens really, really quickly. Before you know it, all of a sudden your tackles are done playing. An Achilles, a back injury, and you were set at tackle till you weren't. But luckily you got that. So I won't have that reaction if it's Carnell Tate because I think he's a good football player. I won't have that reaction if it's Mekhi Lemon because I will trust a lot of people that I find to be smart when it comes to breaking down the draft that have him as their number one receiver.
Sure.
And I certainly won't complain if they draft Jordan Tyson because that's the guy that I think is the best receiver in the draft. We'll see what happens. But Peter Schrager's mock draft, we'll talk more about that, what it may mean. Daniel Holmes joins us coming up at noon, RGR Football Bleacher Report. Mick Schaefer will join us in the 1 o'clock hour, KSHB 41 Sports Director, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. We wanted to wait until Mick was back in here with us today so that we can eliminate the Final Four teams and then give our national championship winner in our bracket a sound with Michigan. So we have 4 sound bites to play. We have the 2 teams that lost on Saturday, the team that lost on Monday Night UConn, and crowning our latest bracket of sound national champion. We'll do that with Mick Schaefer coming up later on in the show. And one of the more inspirational stories has the local connection in Gary Woodland getting the win and opening up a few weeks ago at the Players' Championship about what life's been like and having no clue that the brain tumor he was battling was right there on a part of his brain that controls fear and anxiety. And I don't know what it's like to have all of those things out of whack. I don't know what it's like to be out in public and think that everybody's trying to kill you, to think that you're about to die at any given second. I don't know what that's like because it wasn't able to be maintained or controlled or have just the even mild symptoms that he would have from time to time. But with the brain tumor on that particular part, you understand how it can affect the rest of your body, because how are you able to control those things when you don't have control over it, when that tumor is messing with that part of it? And to hear him come out and talk about it and then go get a win a couple of weeks later after talking about it and get ready for the Masters and have that be one of the bigger stories as the backdrop of this weekend in the Masters, and earning his way to the tournament and having the 20-minute press conference yesterday that he had in the media, which was just incredibly inspirational. So we'll play some clips from Gary Woodland. We'll talk about that in the show today as well. And we got baseball fights. I was joking about what I was going to do with the turkey vulture out there, that it was like, hey, come get some, turkey vulture, while the doors were closed. And I'm like, you know what? I got this baseball fight going on. I'm going to talk as much smack as I can right now because I know I'm not going to be able to get through those doors. Who could possibly get through those doors? Nobody can open them. Those doors are probably locked. They don't lock, but they're probably locked. No way I could get around them. It's a baseball fight. And then, of course, a few hours later, we see a fight that's more than a baseball fight.
Yeah.
We see haymakers being thrown. We see somebody use a baseball as a weapon and not throwing it at somebody, but to hold it in your hand and swing at a guy's face with a baseball in your hand. You did that in public. That's assault, brother. On a baseball field, it's like, oh, what a great fight. We see Walt Weiss with some teach tape and tackling. We're going to all of those things as well. Let's start off talking about the Kansas City Royals. They've got game number 3, the rubber match today with Cole Reagans on the mound. Hopefully he looks like start number 2 instead of start number 1. It won't be as cold today as it was yesterday. I love the memes and the video of Major League and Bob Uecker of one damn hit. I don't think you could say that on the radio. Nobody's listening anyway. Because that's what the Royals got. 8 walks, 1 hit. That 1 hit resulted in a run, but so many opportunities, it felt like the offensive theme this year, Sterling, to me, has not only been, like we've talked about, the 2 through 4 hitters, that you look at a scorecard at the end of the game and you're going, boy, there's a lot of things filled in at the bottom part of the lineup. There's a lot of blank space from 2 to 4 across my innings here in my scorecard. But the bottom part of the lineup, I got some colors. I got a lot of writing in there. There's a lot of stuff going on there at the bottom part. But to me, the theme of the offense this year, Sterling, has been nobody can get the one big hit, the one opportunity. And you can't really get mad at Carter because he hit the home run.
Sure.
So, yeah, he comes up with 2 outs, 2 men on, second and third, a hit, takes a 1-1 game to a 3-1 game. It'd be massive because then you throw Urseg, probably instead of Schreiber, hopefully Urseg instead of Schreiber, because he could pitch 3 days in a row, and then you worry about today.
Sure.
But it didn't happen. So I'm not upset or mad at, like, man, I can't believe Carter didn't come through. Because he smoked a home run 110 miles an hour. And he's got 2 of them. He's the only player in Major League Baseball right now with 2 home runs at 110 mile per hour off the bat or more, or higher.
He's in these line drives, too.
He smoked it, dude. He's barreling it.
Phenomenal. And that's what you want to see with him.
And by the way, both of those home runs, haven't they come like in the last few days, wasn't it? Oh, no, it was the first home run and then this one that he hit last night, I believe, were the 110 plus off the bat.
I just like his swing right now. Again, we joke about the sleeping in, but it does feel like he's not pressing. I thought it could have been the opposite, where all of a sudden you go, well, now I have to make up for that.
I thought so, too. I worried about that.
And he is making up for it, but it doesn't feel like he's putting too much pressure on himself.
That part of it, to me, is impressive because somebody with a different mindset that may not be as strong mentally, because baseball is incredibly tough to play. Again, if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. Like, that is really difficult to deal with, right? You fail at the plate 7 out of 10 times, you're a career 300 hitter. That is amazing. So for a game like that, when you make the mistake that he did, which is, in the grand scheme of things, as a 22-year-old, is pretty benign in terms of mistakes that are made.
Yes.
So he makes that, but then making up for it, but to have the mental aptitude to then get locked in and to go up there and have the best number of games you've had this season tells me a lot about him emotionally, mentally, the emotional maturity that he has, that you can stay within yourself and block out other things, which maybe this is, jumping to conclusions like an entire mat of them. But it leads me to believe early on, my guess would be he probably isn't a guy that's going to have prolonged, extended slumps. Because one, his swing is that good. Two, his plate discipline is that good. And three, if he's got the mindset to block that stuff out of everybody snickering and joking at you, and then that's when you get locked in, tells me a lot about where he is between the ears. It sucks that he didn't come through there last night, but he hit the freaking home run. He's the only one with a hit. But doesn't it feel like, Sterling, that's been the theme of this season offensively, is they are one hit in a couple of games away from, like, being 8-3 instead of 5-6.
Well, I brought up the number. What was it yesterday? They were like 10th or 12th in walks, and you look at the batting average, and they're about 10th. They're top 10 in a lot of stats. The issue is not the ones that are coming through. They're getting a lot of base runners. They're getting on base. Again, you look at the plate discipline of a lot of these guys. I've been really impressed. I mean, if you're just looking at the process, I think the process has been fairly good offensively. Whether that's Zumwalt or the new guys coming in,
Connor Dawson
seems like
his approach.
Seems like a pretty good guess there. But I mean, you just look up and down. Jack Caglione, I know the power hasn't been there, but I think the plate appearances outside of yesterday have been much better. Bobby Witt Jr., even with his absolute struggles, very unlucky at the plate as well. I mean, you look at it. I saw Yankees fans saying, is Bobby Witt Jr. the most unlucky player we've ever seen? Because they look at his Savant page and then the actual numbers. They go, he might be the most unlucky player we've ever seen.
I've always thought Bobby Witt is just an unlucky person.
He's getting on base still at 354.
Just a few things to go his way, like blessed with amazing athletic ability.
354. Garcia still good on base at 388 for all of Vinny's struggles. I mean, dire struggles. 306. Salvi's taken a couple more walks this year than we're used to, by the way, even though, again, it's still not been great. You know what Collins does? We saw Kyle took 2 walks yesterday. When was the last time Kyle Isbell took 2 walks in any game?
When's the last time a pitcher dared walk him twice?
But can he be the 260 guy, 320 on base, and can he have a little more power?
Well, and we've seen so far, and that's why I think the theme of the season is not getting that big hit, because we saw them specifically lose a series to the Brewers because one team was getting big 2-out hits, and the other team wasn't. It's just plain and simple. It's just that simple. 2-out RBIs, runners left in scoring position, can tell the story of a game / series / first 11 games through the year, because the pitching staff is doing what you'd expect them to do.
Yeah.
They are pitching. You know what? I would even say they're pitching a little bit better than what I expected, only because Noah Cameron has been really good both outings. And there was an expected sort of regression for Noah Cameron. And it's like he's gone out there and given you a great chance both times he's been on the mound to go and win a game. And yesterday in the frigid temperatures, going out and doing that, battling in like the 4th or 5th, whatever it was, when, can't remember when he had some battled control, but still got out of there, giving up only the 1 earned run. And then, you get to the bottom of the 9th and some ground ball hits.
Yeah.
Schreiber's a ground ball pitcher. Lane Thomas with his 15 hopper on the throw from short right field to home.
Well, he can't hit. He doesn't steal bases. He's not a great fielder, but at least
he did steal that base.
But at least he doesn't have a good arm. At least he doesn't have a good arm. By the way,
that's not one that you necessarily have to keep low for the cut, because that's the winning run. You just fire it to home, not to where it bounces 5. If he doesn't bounce it 5 times, he gets them.
Yeah.
It was a close play with it bouncing and rolling in the freaking grass. Anyway, that's neither here nor is it there.
By the way, I feel like people have already just written Lane Thomas off, wrote
Wrote him off, written him off.
Yeah.
They writed him off. They've already writed him off.
And
running back.
pull Darcy. I'm not ready to write him off just yet.
Oh, I'm not either. My frustration is not necessarily with what he's done so far as a fourth or fifth outfielder.
Yeah.
It's the throw in right field.
Has he been bad? The answer is yes. There's no denying it, but I'm not going to give up on a guy who's played in, 8 games this year maybe? Has been 8 games that he's played in? 9.
8 or 9. He's played 9 of the 11, but how many?
He's had 17 plate appearances.
Right, I was going to say he's played in 9 of the 11, but he's also been late substitution, defensive.
He's had 17 at bats. I'm not ready to say cut the dude, which I've seen a lot on the X.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this isn't. It's not Hunter Renfroe or MJ Melendez when you were relying on those guys being starters as your corner outfield spots.
Correct.
It's been frustrating because these are opportunities that you feel like are being wasted, and we're talking a lot of college basketball over the last couple of weeks. To have a college basketball comparison, these games early that you waste kind of feel like early possessions in a game that it's like, oh, no big deal, it's so early. We had a bad possession, but it's okay, it's early. It's early.
It's Mizzou basketball.
Yeah, that's true. And then late in the game, you're like, oh, we're down 8. Boy, it'd be nice if we could have had some of those possessions back earlier in the game, but you don't get those back. You've got maybe 5 or 6 possessions left. Well, now let's really be serious about these 5. So then you focus on those 5 or 6 possessions as to, well, how'd you get that shot? Well, this guy got beat defensively. It's like, yeah, but you also just dismissed the 8, 10 possessions in the first half that you just threw the ball away or just took a bad shot because, oh, it's early. And in Major League Baseball, when you've got 162, well, those early games, it's only 1. Yeah, but your opportunities to be 8-3 and you're 5-6 and not blowing the games to where, boy, you had a save opportunity and you just can't convert the save because the bullpen's terrible.
You had one.
You only had one of those, but you've had so many opportunities where the offense can just find a big hit from one game to the next or once every couple of games. But that's felt like the theme of the season has been opportunity there to blow a game open or take a lead or tie the game, and that particular person didn't come through. And it's not just been one guy, it's been across the board. And I hope that doesn't start to accumulate and add up to where then you start to put even more pressure on yourself because, well, now I got to come through. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully today they get the win. It's a very big game because they took game 1, and you got an opportunity over the next 2 days to take the series in Cleveland against a team that's leading the division. Now you're a game and a half back. Again, this is where I do talk about it is early when we're talking about being a game and a half back. But taking the series in Cleveland is a big deal. And I think today's game is a big deal. Early, big game. Game number 12, but it feels a little bit bigger than just, oh, it's just one game, no big deal. Because remember that game a couple of years ago against the Mariners when they were down 8?
Yes.
That turned out to be a pretty dang big game. Tiebreaker for making the postseason or not game for the Royals. You never know which one may be the one that gets you rolling or, get you off track or get you back on track. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. The Royals had 8 walks yesterday. That is not out of the ordinary from what we're seeing in Major League Baseball. And I do wonder why. I'll ask Jeff Montgomery this coming up at 11 o'clock. I do wonder why, if we have any theories about this particular stat in Major League Baseball that is different through the first, would have been 135 games played to this point versus last year's first couple 3 weeks, 135 games. It's a very specific stat that is sticking out, and the Royals have been a part of it on both sides. We'll talk about that, give our theories as to why that is. The importance of Cole Reagans on the mound, Soler and Lopez. Wilson Contreras has been hit 24 times by the same team. I thought he was exaggerating. I didn't realize he literally has been hit 24 times by the Brewers in his career. I thought he just made up a number. I thought you were telling a joke. I even wrote it in my diary. Wilson Contreras told a funny joke here today. Exaggerated about the number of times he's been hit by a pitch. Turns out it was real. We'll talk about that and many other things. But we'll get into that stat that's happening in the first 135 games that's different from years past. Does it have staying power, and what are the reasons? And the Royals have been a part of 2 different games with this. We'll talk about that next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Royals walked 8 times yesterday. They only walked and touched the plate with less than 3 outs in an inning once. And that was Carter. That was allowed to jog around the bases. They put a fence up there in the outfield, and if you hit it over that fence, you can just jog at your own leisurely pace and touch home plate. I saw this from ESPN this morning. Through the first 135 games in Major League Baseball, walks are up almost 100 more so far than this time last year. That's damn near a walk per game in baseball. And again, I'll bring this up with Jeff Montgomery at 11 o'clock because I'm really curious about what he thinks or the theories that he may have. I don't know if it's ABS. I think you'd have to look and see, have more strikes been turned to balls? Is it even balls to strikes? Because if it's even balls to strikes, then that shouldn't necessarily accumulate that many walks in baseball. The Royals have been a part of the game where they walked 9 when they were up 12-1. Then yesterday, they walk 8 times in a game, especially in a game where you would think the pitcher has the advantage because the batter doesn't necessarily want to swing the bat and feel his hands stinging because he hits the end of the bat or he gets sawed off or he gets on the handle, and to have the stones to go up there and like, I'm going to swing as hard as I can. I'm going to do my regular swing even though I know this thing may hurt. I do wonder if it's the ABS system, if it's random 135 games in baseball. So the percentage through the first 135 games is the highest walk percentage since 1997 at this time in every single year, first 135 games. 1997 was the last time it was higher than what it is, right? It's 10%. So there's a 10% walk rate at all of Major League Baseball right now. I mean, the only difference is ABS. So would it be the ABS system that we're looking at? But batters are the worst in percentage of calls being overturned, as opposed to catchers and pitchers. Carter Jensen's challenge yesterday was maybe the most impactful challenge we've seen. Like, you got 2 men on, you got 2 strikes, and that was a strike by a half an inch on the bottom right corner of the freaking zone, and he challenged and he got it, and it's the 3rd out instead of an even count with 2 men on and 2 outs. I don't know if it's just ABS or if it's random baseball over 135 games, that maybe we look at any 135 game stretch, there might be a 15% walk rate in baseball, and it just so happens to be as we focus on these are the first 135 games. Or is it a combination of the ABS and more teams are embracing more and more players coming through the system that are valuing a walk, valuing getting the pitcher to pitch deep into counts? Maybe it's a combination of that. I'm not sure what it is. I'll ask Monty. I'm curious for his answer. But the only difference is ABS from last year to this year.
I do think approaches and philosophies have changed, and now we're seeing, because it's been changing for a while, but now with the younger guys coming up, I think you're seeing more guys not swing at, it is not 3 true outcomes, but we're seeing more or less of, hey, it might be a strike, but I'm not going to swing at that because I can't do damage with it. I'm going to let that one go. A walk is just as good as a single. Now, it's not when there's runners in scoring position, you need to drive them home, right? When there's a guy on third, 2 outs, well, a walk's not as good as a single. Mm-hmm. A single's driving him home. A walk's, it's great, it's nice, passing the baton, but it's not driving him home. You look around, there's only Luis Ariz is like the guy. That's the guy that does not walk but also gets a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Even Garcia, his walk rate feels like it's gone up over the past couple of seasons. You just look around and it feels like there's been such an emphasis on on-base percentage over average. And so I think with the younger guys who've been getting taught this in high school and college and in the minor leagues, well, now I think we're seeing a culmination of that in the majors. And so that's where I think we're finally starting to see that 10 years ago, we're seeing those guys in the majors now, and that's why I think we're seeing maybe the uptick in walk rate.
Yeah, every team, the league average right now is 4 walks per game per team. And that is up through the first, however 135 games this time last year. It's up almost 100 from what it was last year. I think that's certainly part of it. I think there is a chance that the next 135 games, it may even out, and it'll be like, well, it's right in line of what it was the last 3 years. It's just there have been every other year since 1997 through the first 135 games that it hasn't been like this. It hasn't been this high of a percentage walks, and literally the only difference is ABS.
And I'm surprised because I thought ABS would get more strikeouts because I did think that the strike zone is almost expanded now. I know that every ump had their own strike zone, but I think a lot of those on the cusp that just barely clip were called balls. I think the ones that were up and in were almost never called strikes. Well, now those are. Right? Sometimes those guys back away, it's up and in. Well, now that's clipping the corner, and that's now a strike. So I thought we would get more strikeouts just looking than I originally thought. I am surprised a little bit by that number. And also, I do think it's just, again, the culmination of, philosophically speaking, guys throw harder now.
Yeah.
Guys' stuff moves more. They're focusing more on stuff versus location, which I know is a simplistic way of saying it. But I think that's part of it as well is, hey, I'm not leaving anything over the middle of the plate. I'm just going to try and rear back and throw 101 with movement. Well, when you're doing that, what's going to happen? Well, it's harder to control, and you're probably not going to throw as many strikes.
Yeah. I'm trying to find at Baseball Savant because they're one of the only sites that I know has the specific dashboard and leaderboard for ABS. And trying to see if I want it to be all. Now let's do team summary, update, strikes. I'm not seeing like a percentage of strikes overturned or balls overturned. But that would be the one thing I would wonder is, like, the strike zone in the past, you've had, as you said, different umpires that have had different strike zones, and it's like, boy, that was outside. Come on, dude. That was an outside pitch, and you called it a strike. Well, now the strike zone's the strike zone. Like, I know that sounds simplistic, but with the challenges, if you don't frivolously use them, Isaac Collins. Oh, thank God he didn't challenge yesterday. I really thought Isaac Collins with the second strike was going to challenge again. He looked back, and I'm like, don't! It was a strike! It's the last challenge. Don't do it again. You've done it twice already. The Royals have had one challenge left. Isaac Collins has been up there 2 times this season in 2 different games. They've had one challenge left, and he's challenged a strike. That was a strike, and he lost them both. Don't do it again. You are not allowed to challenge it. I wonder if there's like a kangaroo court in the clubhouse of guys that lose challenges. Like, do you pay a fine or whatever?
That'd be good.
But if there's a kangaroo court in the clubhouse, then Isaac Collins is not allowed to challenge a ball or strike for the next month. Like, you've lost your challenge privileges. Like, I know that Q was like, well, we leave it up to them, and JJ was like, well, we need to be strategic about when we use it, what situation we use it. That wasn't strike 3. It was strike 2 on you. You're the number 8 hitter. Just nobody on. Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
All right. You just took the last challenge, and then an inning later, there's bases loaded and 1 out, and Bobby's up, and strike 3 is outside, and Bobby would love the challenge, but you used the challenge an inning before frivolously. That would have been ball 4. Bobby walks, moved the line, run scored, Vinny's up. Now you're in a game you ended up losing to the Milwaukee Brewers. That would have been nice to have that. But that could be part of it, to where, these pitches that are outside that are called strikes, like that one, that should have been a walk to Bobby.
Yeah.
But now they're being challenged and flipped to balls, which is then resulting in a walk. But if the catchers are the best at doing it, you would think that's turning balls into strikes. It would be the exact opposite. I would guess walks would be down.
Yeah.
Than what they've been in years past. So I think there's certainly a chance that this is randomness in Major League Baseball, but I think there's also a chance that umpires have tightened their own zone in strikes to where you can't challenge everything. And if they've tightened their own zone, then it's leading to more pitches being called a ball. And you've only got a couple of challenges, and you can't challenge literally everything, even though we watched a game where there were 12 challenges and 11 of them were successful. We did see that particular game. But the Royals have been one of the teams that has, been willing to take a walk. And that's not really something we've ever seen them do. They are 3, 6, 9. They're 13th in Major League Baseball.
You're not just going 3, 6, 9.
Yes. They are.
Damn, that's fine.
3, 6, 9. Damn, they are 12th in baseball. 12th in baseball in total number of walks.
That's not very low.
No, it's not. The comedy is, though. That's for sure. And they have only 11 games, although the Yankees have only played 10 games, and they're in third place for most walks. And but also, do you want to throw a strike at Yankee Stadium? You throw a strike, a pop-up's a home run, so you got to worry about that too. I don't know. I hope it continues for the Royals.
Yes.
And with the Royals pitching staff, I hope it's a trend that continues because I trust the Royals pitching staff. The bullpen is the team that is the part that struggled in the game where they walked 8, 9 guys. The starters haven't necessarily been victims of, wow, you've just lost it. You keep walking guys left and right. It's been the bullpen that's been the issue. But for the Royals starters, if this is one to where it's resulting in more walks, then I think there becomes an advantage of a pitching staff that can control that to a more standardized average or above average level, as opposed to a staff that may have strike or walk out stuff. Like you're going to strike them out, you're going to walk them. You're going to strike them out, you're going to walk them, where the Royals don't necessarily have the high strikeout stuff with a Noah Cameron and a Michael Wacha and even a Seth Lugo. They've got some pitch to contact, but they're throwing strikes.
Yeah, I would say Reagans is the guy. Bubic to an extent, but mostly Reagans, which is funny because he has 5 walks this year, which is tied with John Schreiber in the bullpen. Chris Bubic actually has 6, but when it comes to
but I think 5 of them are in the first inning.
Correct.
It
And
seems
so,
like.
and Schreiber, you can't do that. If you're a Schreiber in 4 1/3, you have 5 walks, and you are a pitch to contact guy.
Yes.
I will say he does get a lot of movement on his pitches, which makes it a little difficult. That 2-seamer and that sweeper has a lot of break to it. I get it, but you're not a big strikeout guy even with that movement. You gotta be throwing strikes. We've seen some inconsistencies from Schreiber in the past where when he's on, he is very difficult to square up. And he gets a lot of double plays, ground balls. But when he's off, it does feel like it unravels fairly quick. What is nice to see is so far Nick Mears seems to be a dude.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. I mean, you get Collins and Mears for Zerpa. Yeah. That's a hell of a deal with what you get. But the issue for Schreiber is you get in the 9th inning and, you've got an out. You get the first guy out. You get a single to right center.
Sure.
Then you get Bo Naylor up there with 1 out and a man on first. And he's a career 200 hitter, and you walk him on 5 pitches.
That walked. I was frustrated, to put it mildly.
When he walked Naylor, I'm like, oh, this game's probably over. If he can't find the stuff to challenge Bo Naylor, then I'm not sure that he's going to find the stuff.
In that weather, too, by the way,
Yes.
where pitchers had the advantage.
Because if you don't get Rocchio out, you're still facing Kwan. By getting Naylor out, then you had the number 9 hitter that you could go after, and you wouldn't have to face Stephen Kwan.
Correct.
Well, he didn't have to face Stephen Kwan anyway because Rocchio got the hit and drove in the winning run. But when that happens, I'm like, oh, I don't want to see Schreiber versus Kwan here. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. We'll talk about the importance of Cole Reagans on the mound tonight. And we'll talk with Jeff Montgomery coming up at 11 o'clock. We'll get into some college basketball with Flory taking some visits. We'll get into some NFL, look at Peter Schrager's mock draft. Daniel Harms coming up at noon, talking some football. Mick Schaefer joins us at 1 o'clock. More Zone next.
FanDuel has your back with a special Mulligan bet back token this week in golf. Once the tournament starts, you can turn any losing bet into a bonus bet for another try. So now you've got protection to take that sleeper pick or make a bold prediction. They also have a lot of great specials right now on FanDuel. I was doing that this morning, just at my house, going around. I was like, let's check out FanDuel. Let's wake up. Let's see what we got going on there. Obviously, got Augusta happening starting tomorrow. And I'm looking. I go, okay, who do I want to roll with? I'm going with Akshay Bhatia. I think it's time for a lefty to get it back. There are 7 lefties playing at Augusta this year. They've done well traditionally since 2003. There's been 7 lefties, only 3 winners, though, Phil, Bubba, and Mike Weir. But I think they're due. The last winner was Bubba in 2014. I like what Akshay does. I think his putting, I think his wedge game, I think his approach to the green is perfect for Augusta. But I also think if you want to take another shot on a different lefty who's been doing fairly well in the past, Robert McIntyre. Tied for 12th and a tied for 23rd. He's playing fairly well. He's one of the top-ranked lefties, so I don't know why. I'm going a little lefty with it. You can fade me. You can follow me. The choice is up to you. So go to FanDuel. You got that mulligan in your back pocket ready to go. Go to FanDuel.com/local to claim your special mulligan bet back token.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Cole Reagan's on the mound today against Cantillo for the Guardians. 5-6 record for the Royals. It'd be nice if they were 500 returning home tomorrow, starting a 4-game set against the White Sox. And then they've got 3 against Detroit. So you've got 10 straight games here against the American League Central. You're 1-1 so far in those 10 games. It'd be nice to take a series today against the Guardians.
And it's a little bit of a getaway lineup to an extent.
Am I in it?
Well, it's a lefty lineup, but it's Garcia, Bobby, Vinny, Salvi DHing, Carter fifth catching, Lane Thomas in center field. Again, remember, they're facing a lefty.
Okay.
India at second, Marte in right, batting eighth, so he's instead of Cags. Again, a lefty.
And Cags is sort of scuffling a little bit.
And
He's
then-
been taking some good at bats.
Yeah, but 3 strikeouts yesterday. It's probably time. Then the surprise, Michael Massey in left field batting ninth. I like him getting an opportunity since you brought him up and let him get some run. I am surprised it's against a lefty, though.
It's a great point. And that might just be Collins has been scuffling too.
Yeah.
And he's kind of in his own head. He started off slow, then he got hot, and now the last couple 3 games it feels like he's struggling. Rolling over the ball, ground balls, pop-ups, and strikeouts.
I want to look some with Michael Massey. I don't remember
how Cantillo.
Well, no. I want to know how bad how different. I don't want to say bad. His splits aren't crazy. Yeah, actually, in 24, that was his good year, right? Was 24? Yeah, 24. His splits were non-existent. He OPS'd 740 versus lefties, 743 versus righties.
It's pretty good.
I mean, his one good year was 24.
Yeah,
I mean,
was
so
24,
if you're going off of his one good year,
yeah.
He didn't have splits. It was pretty damn consistent.
Yeah.
Now I will say he didn't walk against any lefties. He had 1 walk versus 14 walks. Now again, fewer plate appearances, obviously.
He is in his career 0 for 2 versus Joey Cantillo. So there you go. He's 0 for 2, which means he's due. You know,
it means he's due.
If I'm Q, that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, this guy hasn't had a hit in ever. Against Cantillo. He's due, man. You got to think with all the right-handed hitters up there, you think you could go with one of those. Heck, even a switch hitter might do on this one. And he hasn't had a hit against Cantillo in ever.
I'm intrigued by it. This is a shakeup at the bottom. The top's the same, but then 6 through 9 is Thomas, India, Marte, Massey. I guess India's the mainstay, but
yeah. Yeah, Isaac Collins is 0 for 7 against Cleveland with 6 strikeouts so far. He did have that 1 walk, though. But 6 strikeouts.
All right, it was time. Let's see what Michael Massey can do.
Collins had 7 strikeouts and 5 walks heading into these 2 games against Cleveland. And now he's, these 2 games alone, 6 strikeouts and 1 walk. So maybe give him a seat, you know? And hey, you know what? If we give him a seat, it's a lefty that's going to be in there. So take your chances there. Jeff Montgomery next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, a Wednesday edition of the show. The Royals in action about an hour from now in what will be a downright balmy afternoon. Mid-50s maybe for the Royals after yesterday's third coldest first pitch in Royals history. Jeff Montgomery joining us here in the zone on this Wednesday. Monty, how are you, sir?
Well, Jason, I'm doing a whole lot better than people in Cleveland are based on the weather that they experienced yesterday. So I'm glad to hear that today's going to be a little better.
Does it? Can you ever get used to it in a game, or is it just, you got to deal with it for 9 innings, get through it, have the right mindset, and hopefully the next day is a little warmer?
Well, you have to experience some extremes in baseball, but I don't think Abner Doubleday had that in mind when he came up the game of baseball. It really is not a good cold weather sport. As we experienced last, I think Wednesday, it's not a good wet weather sport. Think about last Wednesday, we played in that game, should have been probably either not played or called after about 5 innings. Yeah. With all that rain in the field and all the crazy conditions. We go back to opening day. We had an 85-degree opening day here in Kansas City. So we've seen a little bit of extremes here during the early part of the baseball season.
Do you think the pitcher or the hitter has an advantage in the extreme cold like that?
Definitely the pitcher. I mean, if you get warm and are able to stay warm as a pitcher, you don't really notice it a ton. I mean, you have to do some things to adjust. You have to make sure that you've got some, some good rosin and some sticky stuff if you're able to do that, get the good grip on the baseball. But, from what I saw yesterday, really both pitchers, commanded the strike zone pretty well. I mean, Williams obviously walked a lot of guys. The Indians, the Guardians always have that strikeout walk thing going. But I thought Noah Cameron did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
During the kind of the fourth or fifth inning, he got a little bit off with his command, but I don't think that was weather related. But I think the pitchers have a big advantage just because they're able to get warm, stay warm, and you're out there regardless of the temperature. You still got a sweat going, so you're able to be a little bit more normal than what the hitters are, because oftentimes, especially in some longer games, those guys are standing out in the outfield or standing in the infield waiting for some action and nothing happening. Your body's just going to react.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when we see the extremes, and you mentioned extreme on opening day of 80, extreme back and forth, 85, not necessarily extreme, especially for July and August in Kansas City, as we know Ichiro described it very perfectly of what it's like. But would you rather, as a pitcher, be out there in the quote-unquote extreme cold of 30 degrees or extreme cold of it's 105 with a feels like of 108 and the sun is beaming down on you? Which would you rather pitch in?
Well, definitely the heat. I think the heat allows your body to, do the things that you don't have to make any adjustments. I mean, it's just what we'll call normal, especially for baseball.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I didn't know if maybe I'm out there sweating in the cold, and so it's better as opposed to just like your body just being drained from all of the sweat and everything from the heat. No, that makes sense there. From that standpoint. You mentioned Noah Cameron yesterday, Jeff. We've had 2 full starts through the staff, through the rotation. What have you seen so far? Is it sort of expectations? Are you impressed a little bit better than you thought, maybe a little bit worse than you thought? 2 full starts plus Luinder Avila, what we've seen from the staff.
Well, I think overall the rotation has been spectacular. Cole Reagan's had his issue on the opening start against Atlanta, but I think everyone else has gone out there and pretty much done what you would hope they would be able to do, and that's give your team a chance to win a baseball game. And especially like Michael Wacha, to me the other night, he was outstanding.
Yeah.
Very efficient, pitching to contact, and got some big outs when he needed them. So, by and large, I think you got to be happy with the rotation. I think there's still some of that adjustment period going on out in that bullpen, and that happens pretty much every year when you have guys coming in, especially you bring in some new names and faces. You have to figure out some roles and get some things going. But once those departments, the starting rotation or the bullpen, or even I'll go to the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, I'll just go with those departments. Especially the relief department, it seemingly takes longer for that to get established than the others.
What did you see from Luinder Avila? We've seen the other 5 guys pitch a number of times, but the first time we've seen Avila start a game, and they really like him as a starter. There's been some sort of differing opinions, but in that game specifically, what did you see from him?
Well, I don't know that the same guy we saw last year who seemingly was just fearless on the mound. He was pitching the contact and allowing his stuff to play out. Making his first major league start, it's just different because you've got time to think about it. You know for sure you're going to throw the first pitch of the baseball game, and just a little different mindset than we saw from him last year pitching out of the bullpen, where to me he was just on the attack. The phone would ring, he gets warm, he doesn't have a lot of time to think about it. He goes out there and he executed really quality pitches. So I think the stuff is certainly there, and I think you can oftentimes throw that first one out because just getting through that for the first time and figuring things out. But I think stuff-wise, it was really good.
Do you think he's got a future as a starter, or is he maybe with his stuff best placed in 7th, 8th, 9th, letting the 96 mile an hour maybe play up to 98, 99 on a regular basis? Do you think he can stay as a starter with this team, or you think his future probably is in the bullpen?
Well, if you have the option, I think you would have him as a starter. But, there again, you have to figure out exactly what your needs are from a team standpoint, from where you are in your rotation. But having the ability to do both of them, to me, is certainly a bonus. Mm-hmm. He's got a really good fastball with life. He's got a tremendous 12-6 curveball that, one of those curveballs you could almost tell guys you're going to throw it. If you execute it, you're going to get a ground ball or a whiff on it. So, that's a luxury of having, those two really high-quality pitches. And, certainly that plays really well of a bullpen. You only need two pitches if you have that out of the bullpen. Your ability to pitch up in the strike zone with that fastball, then the bottom part of the zone with the curveball. So he's cut out to be a reliever, but if you have the option, to me, he would be a great starter.
How do you think, Montgomery is our guest, Monty, how do you feel like the Royals will use him now? He wasn't sent back down. He was called up for Falter, and I thought maybe he would be called up spot start, and then maybe they'd make another move for maybe a longer relief guy. But do you think he'll just have a traditional role in the bullpen? Will he be Bailey Falter's role? Do you think maybe a spot start here or there? They wanted to keep him down in the minor leagues to keep him stretched out as a starter, but now he's filling in that Bailey Falter role, or at least filling in that spot on the 26-man roster. How do you think he'll be used?
Yeah, Steve, I think that's, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think obviously you have, situations with off days occasionally that you can work around things. But I think if he establishes himself, then the ability to use him in that rotation or in the bullpen, I just think you want to make sure he's being utilized, because at this stage of his career, you don't want a guy who's going long periods of time without having the baseball in his hand and being in leverage situations.
Would you leave Ursig alone at this point and just say he's our ninth inning guy even if Estevez returns, or Estevez returns and he moves back to the ninth inning if his stuff returns? I guess that's the caveat with that. If Estevez's stuff returns, does he go back to the ninth inning guy, or do you leave Ursig alone?
Well, I think they'll probably let him kind of ease into that situation. Mm-hmm. I think they'll pitch him in some low leverage situations, and then I'm talking about Estevez.
Yeah.
But having Ursig throwing the ball extremely well, I think it's you can use both of them. You don't have to necessarily say you're one guy. It worked out last year that way because they brought him over. They brought Estevez over, and he was a ninth inning guy, and he just took the ball and ran with it from start to finish. So he was that guy for the entire season. But when you have the uncertainty of where he is at this stage, I think you certainly don't want to roll the dice and say let's put him in leverage situations immediately. You have to find out for sure that he's ready to go. But if you have both of those guys, it's a luxury to have options to go to, especially late in the game.
Jeff Montgomery is our guest. I wanted to talk to you about what we're seeing early in the season through what is 135 games played before today's slate of games get going. And through the same number of games a year ago, there have been roughly 100 more walks this year. So right around one extra walk per game. Do you think that's and by the way, the percentage, the walk rate is the highest through the first couple of weeks of the season since 1997. It's been that long since we've seen a walk rate this early. We'll see if it levels off, or sometimes there's probably a 2 or 3 week stretch in the middle of baseball where there's this many walks. But do you think it's the advent of the ABS? Is it a combination of the ABS and on-base percentage and players coming up through the minors with, more of an emphasis and a value of taking a walk. Is there anything to glean or take away from the first couple of weeks? We're at roughly a walk extra per game than we were this time last year.
Well, I haven't thought a lot about it, but I think if you're going to look at the items that you mentioned there with the ABS but I think a lot of it just the way the game has really evolved with regards to the pitching side of things. There's just such an emphasis on missing bats and getting whiffs. Not many guys go out there anymore and pitch to contact and try to get early count outs. There's just so much emphasis put on missing bats. And when you're trying to miss bats, then you're going to be on the edge of the strike zone. If you're on the edge of the strike zone, especially now with ABS, there's a chance those pitches that you were getting called as strikes before are going to be balls because the umpires, they're human and they're going to miss some things. But with the ABS now, you can go back and correct it. And we've seen that so many times during the course of the season where some of these calls have been overturned. That you imagine being an umpire back there and you're missing a pitch by 2/10 of an inch, and suddenly it's overturned. It kind of makes the umpires look bad, but it's almost impossible to be 100% on those calls. I mean, there were some games last year where umpires they got 100% rating on their review, but I don't think you're going to see that anymore.
Yeah, and by the way, the challenge by Carter yesterday on the 2 strikes, 2 men on, and the Stones to challenge that. He thought it was a strike. It was a strike by 0.1 inch on the bottom right part of the zone. It was a beautiful pitch and called a ball, and I can understand why it was called a ball. But Carter to challenge that was probably as valuable of a challenge as maybe we've seen with ending the inning as opposed to getting an even count with 2 men on.
Right, and I think that's one thing that makes him a really good young hitter, his ability to recognize that strike zone. I think any hitter who's going to have a good career, he has to be able to put himself in position to swing at pitches that he can put the bat on and make good solid contact. A lot of hitters just don't have that ability, but at such a young age, Carter Jensen's very unique in that regard. But he's been that way through his entire career, and that's one thing I like about Carter Jensen. And I think you'll see another young hitter in Jack Caglin. We've already seen him be better with the strike zone, but I think you'll see him get better and better as things move forward.
Along those lines, what have you seen from the offense overall? I know yesterday was a frustrating day, 8 walks, but only the 1 hit, and couldn't scratch across a couple more runs to get the win. But overall, what have you seen from the offense? Do you take the positive that everybody outside of 2 through 4 are seemingly swinging the bat well, or maybe a different view?
Yeah, when I look at my scorecard after a game, it just seems like there's a whole lot of runs on the bottom half of my scorecard.
Yeah.
I think once you see Bobby Witt Jr. Get to the point where he's swinging the bat extremely well and doing what we know Bobby has done, and we know what he's going to be doing in the future, I think that changes the whole dynamic. Vinny Pasquantino has been a slow starter the last couple of years. And those 2 guys right there together in that lineup, if Bobby and Vinny, if they're doing anywhere close to what their level of expectations are, I think it really changes the offense. But fortunately, they've had that production from the bottom and allowed them to win some baseball games. Like Kyle Isbell, for example. If you would have had Kyle Isbell kind of playing at what you would call his career norm offensively, you probably have a much worse record right now because he's been a savior for the offense. Some big hits, some late in the game, and it's just been fun to watch him really kind of turn into the kind of guy that you had hoped he would be able to be offensively. But, again, I think the top half of the lineup has to produce more in order for this team to win.
Jeff Montgomery is our guest. Monty, I don't know if you saw last night with the Angels and the Braves and Lopez and Jorge Soler going at it. And, it was a high pitch inside. It went to the backstop. The runner advances. There's kind of a delay going on, and Soler and Lopez are looking at each other. And then Soler goes out there to start throwing some haymakers, and they're going at it a little bit. Do you remember a situation where, you throw a pitch, whether you hit somebody or didn't hit somebody, that guy turns around and you're like, oh, okay, here we go?
Well, I did see that last night, and that was pretty amazing. I don't know that I would ever even want to think about challenging Jorge Soler to come out after me, because he's probably one of the biggest, strongest guys in the game itself. But Ronaldo Lopez just seemed like he was almost challenging Soler to come out after him. And again, I don't know if I want to be anyone who would be in those shoes with Soler charging him out, because he could do some serious damages as one swing. But it's interesting. You used to be able to pitch inside. I mean, that was one of the things that players understood. The hitters understood that if I hit a home run or I make good contact on a pitch out of the plate, then the pitcher has the right to kind of brush me back a little bit, move me off the plate, and make me feel a little bit uncomfortable out there. You just don't see that nearly as much anymore. But the old school, that was essentially how pitchers were able to have their ability to pitch on the plate, especially the outside corner of the plate. One of my favorite pitching coaches of all, Bruce Keeson, he said, look, he goes, the outside part of the plate is yours. That's where you make your money. If the hitter starts leaning out there, taking that away from him, it's just like him coming up behind you and taking your wallet out of your pocket. You can't let the hitter take that outside part of the plate, and the only way to do that is to make sure that they know that you're going to pitch inside when you need to pitch inside in order to protect the outside part of the plate.
Has anybody thought that you threw at them purposely?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it was just, there's certain situations where the hitter knew that there has to be some form of retaliation. You just don't know exactly when it's going to be. But I remember one time we're playing against Cleveland in the old ballpark, and I was running and covering first base, and Mark Whitten pushed me after I caught the ball. He literally pushed me in the right field. Well, the next batter was Albert Bell, and unfortunately, I had to hit Albert Bell, but I hit him in his wallet. I hit him right where you're supposed to hit a guy, and he throws the bat down, and I thought for sure he's going to, be the Jorge Soler and come out and pound me. But he understood it was coming. I think everybody on both teams knew that was just something that Mark Whitten had no reason to barrel over me and throw me in the right field. I was staying in fair territory, covering the bag the way you're supposed to cover the bag on the inside part. And, he did it. And as a result, I had no choice but to, protect myself, essentially, and send that message to Albert Bell. Well, that's just the way that it was. It's a little different now.
But I mean, after the game, does it ever go be like, Albert Bell come up to you, or you go up to him of like, it's just you were the next guy up, or it's one of those in baseball that it's just understood that that's going to happen. He goes down to first, and now I get ready to face the next guy.
Well, it was understood. Unfortunately, what Cleveland did was they the next day they threw at George Brett. Oh. And then, as a result, our pitcher, Neil Heaton, had to throw again at Albert Bell. Then the benches did clear. So it should have been over the day before when I say took care of business with Albert Bell, but it wasn't. It lingered over to the next day, and unfortunately led to a pretty ugly bench clearing ball.
Yeah, our pitchers, Jeff Montgomery's our guest, and part of it also goes to, like, we saw that last night, but then Wilson Contreras is pretty fed up, as he said, with the Brewers, because he's been hit apparently 24 times by the Brewers in his career. But are pitchers aware of certain guys that have a history of that they've been hit, or this particular team or the team you're on for some reason has this history of hitting this particular guy? Because Contreras has now taken it personally, and I've never heard of 24 times somebody being hit by the same team.
I've never heard of a number anywhere close to that number, but apparently they have a message to send to Contreras. But as a pitcher, you're not really, I'll say, necessarily aware of hitters who have been hit that many times. You're just really essentially out there focusing and locked in on trying to execute your pitches.
Yeah, I heard Boddicker this morning told the story that Don Baylor had been hit a few times in the series, and he kind of stuck the arm out there, and Boddicker pitched inside and it hit his arm, and Baylor paused, turned around, and just started heading to Boddicker, and Boddicker thought, okay, I'm dead. This is over, because apparently it had happened a few times And then Eddie Murray gets up there and is like, hey, Groove, come on, you know he didn't do that on purpose. And he said, Don Bailey goes, I know, but it bleeping hurts, all right? And he walks down to first, and it was like, Monica was like, I know. It was like the third time he had been hit in that spot. I didn't mean to do it. I understand why he was mad because it seems like, we kept throwing at that same thing. But I thought that was a funny interaction that Don Bailey was like, I know, but it hurts, okay? I'm going to go after this guy.
Well, Don Baylor would be another one that you wouldn't want to have charge him out on you either.
No way. Jeff Montgomery is our guest. Jeff, early in the season, rubber match games, how important are they? We focus a lot on games in August and September, but a divisional game like today for the Royals to be able to get a series there in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think you want to find a way to, especially the teams in your division. You're aiming, for your winning your division. Cleveland's won the division the last couple times, and finding ways to beat those teams that are ahead of you in your division are very important. So, winning series, that's really kind of what it's all about, and that's one of the mantras that the team always has. Let's go out and try to win series, especially if you can win a series on the road in Cleveland at Progressive Field. You've really kind of established something early in the season against a team you're chasing.
Yeah, let's hope that they can get it done today. Get back to 500, and then return home to face off against the White Sox starting tomorrow with a 4-game set, and then head to Detroit. This is a little stretch there against games in the Central. Jeff Montgomery, Monty, thank you so much as always. Appreciate you hanging out with us. We will talk next Wednesday.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Jason.
All right, there's Jeff Montgomery, the Royals in action this afternoon. We will talk with Daniel Harms. We'll get some football, some Chiefs football, some draft coming up at the top of the noon hour. But, yeah, last night, Jorge Soler, Ronaldo Lopez. I'm with Monty. I'm not looking at Soler saying, come on, bring it, dude, bring it. Unless maybe I didn't think there was a chance he would do that. Be totally honest. And, by the way, Walt Weiss ending it was pretty epic as well, that guy form tackle, goes low, wraps up Soler's legs, drives forward, picks up the legs, and then takes him to the ground. If it was a quarterback, it probably would have been roughing the passer, but it was damn near teach tape by Walt Weiss yesterday against Jorge Soler. But how about that? Albert Bell, oh God, I'm gonna hit Albert Bell. What just happened? I got chucked. I need to even the score. And Albert, you're next up. But yeah, I guess that's when it goes over to the next day of hey, we're even. All right, you got me, we got you, all good. And then they come after George Brett and okay, well then we're going to go back after Albert Bell. Now we're going to even the score as well. You started it, we're trying to finish it. Those baseball unwritten rules, they can be fun sometimes. Definitely that is the case. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we continue rolling here on a Wednesday edition of the show. Mick Schaefer will join us at 1 o'clock. We'll talk some golf and some Masters. We have those bracket of sound teams to eliminate. We wanted to wait for Mick to be in today to eliminate our final bracket of sound bites and then crown the champion with the Michigan Wolverines. We'll take a timeout, come back. More Zone next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Thank you to Jeff Montgomery joining us to talk about the Kansas City Royals. They get underway here in just a little bit. A pretty big Game 3, this rubber match of the 3-game series. So appreciate Monty joining us to talk about the Kansas City Royals. Cole Reagan's on the mound. 913-912-4810 is the text line. We will talk with Daniel Holmes coming up at noon, get his thoughts on a couple of weeks away from the draft. The Intel Bleacher Report has their latest big board reshuffling, so we'll talk with him about some of the things that stand out with that. But I wanted to talk a little bit of transfer portal here. Ooh. Just for a second.
Ooh.
And that is Flory Badunga, who is taking some visits. He's looking at Louisville. He's taking a visit to maybe St. John's, Oregon, could be a visit. Texas Tech, they list as schools to watch, and BYU. Of the schools that he is considering, at least of those schools that are connected, only Louisville was considered by Flory out of high school. Of those other schools, at Texas Tech, St. John's, BYU, Duke. He chose Kansas over Auburn, Duke, and Michigan. Michigan, I think, would also be in there. Auburn may be in the mix, but no thank you. But again, if they're going to pay you the most money, then, Flory, is he looking to win a national championship? Well, he could do that at Kansas, depending on the other pieces they have coming in there. He's more familiar with what Kansas can do. Is he going to head to Michigan because they won the national championship this year, but then they will, more than likely have a different roster or close to it maybe? Auburn, where they couldn't make the NCAA tournament this year. Duke, they've been there since John Shire's been head coach. Louisville, interested out of high school. We'll see. But the question I have, because, from the Missouri standpoint, T.O.'s in the portal, Ant Robinson's in the portal, and I don't expect Anthony Robinson back, and I'm, okay with him. I'm surprised he hasn't committed to Miami yet, but we'll see. Maybe he's not going there. Maybe it's Florida State for Anthony Robinson since he's a Tallahassee kid.
Sure.
Maybe that's where he ends up. But I think it's probably somewhere in the Southeast for Anthony Robinson. T.O., I certainly would like to return to Missouri. I would have no ill will or bad feelings about T.O. if he goes somewhere else and gets the bag that he's looking for. If somebody pays him $1.5 million, good for you, man. That is awesome. Missouri ain't going to do it. If that's the asking price, as has been talked about, which seems absurd, but you're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. So if somebody's willing to pay him $1.5, they think he's worth $1.5 million. Whatever the asking price is for Flory, if some of the reports are out there that it's a $5 million asking price for Flory, as he's the number one player in the transfer portal, if he gets it, hey, good for you. My question is, while I don't know what a lot of Missouri fans think of T.O. Barrett, I'd love him to return to Mizzou. I wanted them to retain Pierce, Burns, and T.O. They retained Pierce and Burns. We'll see if they get T.O. Barrett back, because players enter the portal and then return. But Bryson Tiller in the portal, Flory Badunga in the portal. Flory did this a year ago.
Yeah.
So, Michael, I'm sort of curious from your standpoint, because T.O. did it this year. If T.O. returns and then next year he does it again, I may have different feelings on it. I don't know. I'm curious from the Kansas standpoint, because I've seen some that are like, good riddance. I don't want him back. He entered the portal again. Go. If all you're doing is just looking for the biggest check every year, Kansas can pay you a decent amount of money. And so you don't have to enter the portal to get a pretty decent paycheck. And they gave you a pretty decent paycheck last year. Michael, are you, no, Flory, return to Kansas because it's important? Or, you know what, man, this is year number 2 of you doing the same thing. Just go.
I feel pretty neutral about the situation because I also look at it like a business, and he's a college kid that could go to the NBA, but he's not going to be a first-round pick, so he's trying to capitalize on his earnings while he can. I understand that, but I also think he can't really complain about not winning if he goes somewhere else. Mm-hmm. He did the same thing last year. I understood it at the time. I actually thought he was going to go to Auburn last year.
It was like, because out of high school, it was Auburn and Duke. It was like he's going to go to Auburn or Duke, and then he chose Kansas. So for whatever reason, he chose Kansas, and then, so you're right. Maybe last year it was like, I'm going to go to Auburn.
And I would welcome him back. I wouldn't welcome him back at the number that we're hearing he's interested in. I think it has to make sense for Kansas, and especially with how Bill Self has built the roster over the past couple years. I think it would say a lot if he decides to pass up on re-signing Flory and they go get 2 other guards and another big, and maybe they get the Georgia big who's on the market right now. I think that they could do more with that money and spread it out, and maybe they have a bench next year, and then you don't need to rely so much on Flory playing 30 minutes a game. So I would welcome Flory back, but if he wants $2.5 to $3 million, you're probably worth that on the open market. It's free agency in college basketball. Somebody's going to pay it, but I don't know if Kansas should be in that business.
I just will not understand. I think Flory's a good player. I think he's a phenomenal defender. I just will never understand a guy who is as limited offensively as he is having that sort of market. I just don't get it.
Well, if he's a 10 on defense, and let's give him benefit of the doubt, Sterling, 4 on offense.
Yeah, I'll say 4.
So he's a 14. Are you better off with getting somebody that's a 7 and 7? You know,
I'd say
which
yes.
might be difficult.
Yes.
Or are you better off paying less money for somebody that's a 6 and 6? So you're at a 12 with that player as opposed to a 14 with Flory. You've paid less money, but you can elongate your bench more if you are to disperse and spread that money out to other places, because it's nice to have high-end, high-level players. But Michigan didn't win the national championship with a top 5 pick in the draft. Michigan had one of their best players tear his ACL in late February, and they didn't skip a beat. Michigan had their best player mess up his ankle and knee early in the national semifinal game, and they didn't skip a beat because they had other players that could step up and play that were good, solid players that on any given night could be the man. It wasn't a top-heavy team that, all right, we've got all this money in our 1, 2, and 3, but 4 through 8 are pretty suspect, and we actually don't trust 7 and 8 coming in the game. Like Missouri's 6th or 7th man was Cruz.
Yeah.
Jacob Cruz is a guy that had to play that many minutes. Bad deal for Missouri. Bad deal. Could they afford somebody else? Maybe not with the money they spent to retain some of the players that they had. And, you know, who knows what they end up doing this year. But I wonder if you take a little bit of a lesser player for lesser money, which allows you to move some money around and use it on your bench.
Well, let me throw this out there. Let's just say that Flory committed to Auburn or Louisville coming out of high school. Do you think that on the open market he would be worth the $2.5 million that he wants? I think the Kansas
I thought he wants
brand,
5.
Well,
Yeah,
we don't really know
I think it's
what
an outlier,
exactly
yeah.
he wants.
The value was placed on him. I saw it 24/7 or 247. The value was placed on him at like 2.5.
But he wants 5.
But like the word is
Allegedly.
like that's what he wants. But that's fine. I can want a Bugatti from Chad Boger. It's just I'm not going to get it. I'll settle for the Maserati. But that's fine. That's just whatever your negotiating tactic is.
But how much of the value that he is perceived to have comes because of the Kansas name across his chest?
A lot, because I think Bill Self did a great job getting him involved offensively and getting him easy buckets. Who does a better those back screens for easy lobs? No one does that better than Bill Self.
And that's just an insert random big man.
That's an
been a
insert,
thing.
and so
I think Flory earned some money with the way the big men defended this weekend.
agreed. Again, I have no qualms. He's the best
Yeah.
defensive big in one of the best, if not the best, defensive big in college basketball. I think he is so limited offensively. It just I mean, again, if you have 4 great shooters around him, sure, but he's not a ball handler. You got to almost take him out. He's not the worst free throw shooter for a big guy, but he's not good. Mm-hmm. I just will never understand, especially in college basketball, the obsession of athletic bigs who can't move. Like if this was JT Toppin, I'd be like, yeah,
Well,
sure,
yeah,
but
right, yeah.
that makes
Look
sense to me.
The number 1 player in the transfer portal last year versus number 1 player in the transfer portal this year. Last year was Yaxel Lindenberg. This year it's Flory Badunga.
But Yaxel can score.
That's what I'm saying. Like Yaxel
and
can
defend.
but he's defending all different positions. He's switching on all the screens because he's defending outside. He's defending down on the block. He's not the National Defensive Player of the Year like Flory could be. but he's also a guy that could drop 23 points, 24 points per game and bring the ball up as the point guard and then play off the ball. Like, he does so many different things. He was the number one transfer portal player last year, and whatever Michigan paid him was worth the money.
Yeah.
I think other fan bases, maybe not other coaches, because I think if you're a coach and you're going to pay Flory Badunga, whatever it would be to be the highest bidder to get him to go to your school, I think you're banking on the offense improving, but you're saying, we saw what they've done defensively, we're going to put them right there, and now we're clearly better defensively. I need to find other pieces around them. Fan bases, though, I think fan bases see the uber athletic senior or a center switching on all the different positions, blocking shots, running down the floor, jumping, dunking, rim running, some of the offensive rebounds, putbacks, dunks. Like, oh my God, this guy is dominant, because you'll see the highlights.
Yes.
But those highlights don't necessarily include post moves, spinning back to the basket. Ade Mara is a dominant defender. He was this weekend, but he also dropped 26 points, not just on dunks and offensive rebounds.
Great drop steps,
Yes.
beautiful hook shots. I mean, Flory has a
Offensive
left
skill.
hand. Flory can do a little bit,
Yeah.
but you just see the difference in skill set from Mara to Flory. When was the last time you saw Flory do a drop step like that? When was I don't think ever. Well, I don't
remember.
Into either side, by the way, left or right.
But is that a shortcoming on Bill Self not developing the offense when he's typically good at developing big men, or is it one of those to where, all right, this guy can't play cornerback for the Chiefs with Dave Merritt and Spags, so do we want to bring this cornerback in and try to figure out if we can tap into potential if they couldn't? If Bill Self can't get this big man to play and have some skill and some touch and become more consistent all-around offensive player, and his track record with bigs, are we going to bring him in and be able to tap into those things? Well, of course we are. I don't think coaches really think like that, but from the outside looking in, I would think like that, because we view it from Dave Merritt and Steve Spagnuolo. They couldn't get anything out of this cornerback. He's going somewhere else. You think you're going to get something out of him? They moved on from him quickly. If you guys want him, oh, okay, sure.
If you're an elite player, I just thought this just now, if you're an elite player, highly recruited, Bryson Tiller left, Flory Badunga's leave. Well, we assume they're leaving, right? And we didn't see a ton of improvement from those guys. If you are A.J. Storr, who came in, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Rylan Griffin, great transfer, didn't do anything. Darren Peterson was a little underwhelming. At some point, and maybe it doesn't matter because it's money and it's the brand and all that stuff and the previous success, but it's not like it's a great track record the past couple of years of developing guys. It's not like it's been, like if you're, let's say, John Blackwell from Wisconsin again. I'd have to go back to that well, but that'd be like your A.J. Storr, right? You're probably not looking at, you're like, well, it didn't work last time. I don't want to go there. It didn't work for A.J., and that's about who I am. I'm A.J. Storr. I was the guy at Wisconsin. I want to take a next step, next level. Is there going to be a situation or a case where Kansas, you're like, I don't know, they're not doing quite as much they're developing that we thought they were in the past?
I almost wonder if there's a mindset, I doubt there is from the coaching staff, but why am I going to pour so much energy and time into developing a guy that's just going to hit the portal in 9 months? Why am I going to develop this guy so he can go get paid millions of dollars by another school and potentially beat us? And I think that, kind of goes back to Bill Self liking to have guys in the system for 3 or 4 years, because you can do more with those players if you have them for longer. And that's why I think from a developmental standpoint, maybe we're not seeing guys take a next step because they just don't have enough time.
I think we saw Bryson Tiller take a step from redshirting to then playing and going, wow, this guy, you can see that
Glimpses.
he's got
Glimpses.
You could see he's got much more NBA potential than Flory.
Oh, 100%.
And you see what's there. And I think, like, if I'm paying somebody, I'm probably paying more for Bryson Tiller than I am for Flory.
I would agree.
If I'm building a team, but that's not going to be how other teams do it.
I would agree by that with you, 100%.
I think Bryson Tiller's like number 24 or 25, and Flory's number 1 in the transfer portal right now. But if I'm Kansas, I would be putting the priority on Bryson Tiller. I think they tried to get something done. It didn't work. Tiller's in the transfer portal. I think Missouri tried to get something done with T.O. Barrett. They weren't going to pay him what he was asking for. Comes time to put your name in the portal, he puts his name in the portal. I think Bryson Tiller and T.O. were sort of the same thing. Ant Robinson, it was just going to be, time for a fresh start. El Marco, McDowell, just time for a fresh start, right? I mean, they're in the portal. Good luck. Best of luck to you. Go find a spot that's, going to work out for you. Hopefully, it's a good move for you. Flory, NBA, portal, probably going to do that regardless of what Kansas was talking to him about. Tiller, I do think, was let's negotiate, let's figure out what we can do to get you back here with what we have available. You want more than that. This is what we want to offer you right now. No, I think I'm worth more. Then best of luck. And I think Tiller and T.O. might be the same thing. Not saying that they're definitely gone, because Flory wasn't gone last year. He ended up returning. But if somebody is willing to pay the unknown, like we look at this in the NFL, and from fans and things like that, where it's, this player's played with your team for a number of years, and they're a free agent, and you go, well, why don't they take a hometown discount? Like, don't you want to stay here and play? Like, you're winning Super Bowls like Trey Smith.
Yeah.
Why is Trey Smith trying to get the most money for a guard? Like, that hurts the opportunity for the Chiefs to get better players elsewhere. Don't you want to win? They took a chance on you in the 6th round. Like, come on, you got to take a hometown discount. But if you go out and get a free agent somewhere, it's like, why aren't they taking a Chiefs discount? Oh, they got Kenneth Walker? Hell yeah. $14 million? That's fine. They got the best running back out there. Well, why didn't Kenneth Walker want to take a hometown discount in Seattle? What's BS, man? They drafted you. And it's sort of the same thing. It's like, well, hold on. Tiller wants to go and get the most. And I'm not saying Kansas fans are looking at it like that. But Tiller wants to get the most. Why didn't he just stay at Kansas and keep developing? Like, they're the one that, recruited you. You've been there for a couple of years. They gave you opportunities there. Now you're just going to go out and get paid whatever. But on the open market, a team may be like, pay Tiller whatever he needs, whatever he wants, because we think he can be a stud player. And so when you're bringing somebody in, you're never asking them to take a discount to play for your particular team, typically.
Yeah.
But you're asking the players that have been around your program or team to, well, why don't you take a little bit less to stay? That's not really how it works. It may work with some.
And that's why it's so hard if you do the one transfer only, is then the team has all the control of, hey, well, I'm not paying you. What are you going to do, transfer? We're paying you half. We're going to pay you $1 million less than you think because you're not transferring. You only get one.
Yeah.
So,
again, you better maximize your dollar value. If you decide to transfer, that better be the year that you've maximized your value.
Yeah, and again, I'm still team. I would like that to be the case. I don't know how you figure it out. Maybe you have to have incentive bonuses or good agents who recruit you and take care of you when you're coming out of high school and say, hey, this is going to be a 4-year deal worth so-and-so. I don't know how you eventually get that done, but for the guys that blossom, who were under-recruited and now they're stars and they're getting paid less than the, like in baseball, like the guy who's a full scholarship guy who's now your bench guy, but your 3-hitter because he came out of nowhere is all of a sudden getting paid. He's on an 1/8 of a scholarship, right? Like,
yes, that's right, yeah.
So I don't know how you do it, but this is the new landscape of college basketball. It is the wild, wild west. And again, just because you enter the portal doesn't mean you're gone. But to me, it's an ominous sign when all these players from the University of Kansas, a blue blood, can't keep their guys.
Yeah, yep. There's also reports at 24/7 that Kentucky, North Carolina, and Kansas are going to be the most aggressive in the portal.
Oh, well, Kansas has to be.
I was going to say, Kansas literally has nobody on the roster.
But it's like, what does aggressive mean? Is aggressive like you've got the money backing that you can be aggressive? Or aggressive like you got to have somebody fill out the roster?
Well,
like you're going to be aggressive in terms of quantity over high-level quality where, hey, Kentucky can spend $20 million. Indiana spent the 10th most last year, and it resulted in 18 wins and, no NCAA tournament. Well, okay, let's give him a little more money to see if he can go out and get something done this year. And if that doesn't work, then maybe we move on from him as a head coach. Like, aggressive could mean we just got to fill out our roster. So everybody, we're offering all these different people, and we'll try to figure out how it works under the quote-unquote salary cap or with the money we have to work with. Or aggressive as in we're going to go take a run at Sherrill. We're going to go take a run at Marcus Burton from Notre Dame that can drop 19. Blackwell, you mentioned him, although do you want to go down the Wisconsin road again for Wisconsin score? We're going to take a run at Juke Harris, combo guard. We're going to take a run at Moraskis from St. Mary's, power forward. We're going to go take a run at Rob Wright from BYU, familiar with them, although you got JK already there. Like, we're just going to be aggressive.
If you are Kansas, and if Bill Self has told the administration, this is my final year, if he said that,
it's a good point.
Do you think they're going to pour everything into that?
That's going to be an expensive roster.
Seriously, if Bill Self has told, and again, we don't know, but if he told the administration, hey, this is my last year, they are going to open up as much as they can for him, without a doubt.
Yeah, also, by the way, the report on Flory and the crystal ball on Sunday before the portal even opened of him crystal ball to Texas Tech. Texas Tech isn't even being considered now as one of the teams. And I think Branham at CBS said somebody was out over their skis with that one because Texas Tech is not even in the mix for Flory. So somebody may have heard something and was like, oh, Flory's going to Texas Tech. And it's like, Flory ain't even considering Texas Tech. He's not taking a visit to him. He's not talking with him. Texas Tech isn't talking with him. Like, somebody got some bad information to, crystal ball predict that. Or they just went out on a limb and said, well, Toppin's leaving and Texas Tech has all the money in the world, so they'll just throw it at Flory. He's going to Texas Tech. Not really. They do have money, but Flory's not considering that. So we'll see where he ends up going. But there's a lot of players out there, and I think if I'm Kansas and I have a choice of door 1, door 2, door 3, and door 3 may be a sailboat, and I've always wanted one of those. Door 1 is you pay Flory $5 million. Door 2, you pay Stokes $5 million. Door 3, you take the $5 million and you move it around to different players. I'm choosing door 3. What are you choosing, Sterling?
Door 3, then Stokes, then probably Flory.
I think that's probably the way I would go, although I may flip Stokes and Flory just because the devil,
I think 5 for one player is just absurd.
I know. I don't choose 1 or 2. I choose 3.
3 is vastly ahead of the other
Stokes could also be Josh Selby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Flory's the devil,
Yes.
bad, it's not from a bad standpoint, but just the saying.
You know what you're going to get.
Yes.
You're going to get a solid defender, one of the best in college basketball, and somebody that could drop 20 on a given night.
And those are your only choices. So it's not, well, I'll take door number 1, but only $2.5 million. No, the choices are $5 million for door 1, $5 million for door 2, $5 million for door 3. Behind 1 is Flory, behind 2 is Stokes, behind 3 is multiple players that are good players that can fill out a roster and hopefully fill out the bench as well. I choose door number 3. I think Stokes may be a beware what you wish for out there for some schools. And I think there's a school that's way more desperate to earn over the fan base in Kentucky to get a Stokes. And if Stokes doesn't work out, well, Mark Pope needs to earn over the fan base because Cal's recruiting everybody. Calipari gets all these kids, and you can't get a kid in your own backyard to play point guard that's going to Kansas. Are you going to overpay for Stokes? Yeah, look, we got the number 1 player in America.
Kentucky fans wouldn't be Stokes if they didn't get him.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. That is for sure. We'll take a timeout, come back, wrap up this hour. Daniel Harms joins us at noon. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour, we'll talk with Daniel Holmes. We'll talk some NFL football with him. Bleacher Report, their newest big board is out. Interesting, one of the players that shows up in the top 10.
Ooh.
In the connection with one of the things we've talked about the last couple of days.
Way to tease.
Oh, thank you. I don't even know if that's a compliment or not. Thanks. You're good at teasing. Aw. Well, thank you.
I try.
I've been a tease most of my life. And finally getting recognized for it.
You're welcome.
Finally a compliment for it.
You're welcome,
How
Jason.
about that? The par 3 fun times going on at the Masters today as well. Daniel Holmes next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up at 1 o'clock. We got some bracket of sound clips to eliminate and then crown the Michigan Wolverines with the championship. Daniel Harms, RGR Football Bleacher Report, joining us here in the zone on a Wednesday. Daniel, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, especially after you mentioned the Michigan Wolverines won the national championship on Monday. I'm feeling pretty good.
Are you I know you're a Detroit Tigers fan. I didn't know if you were a Michigan fan or Michigan State or around that area.
No, just Michigan. We don't talk about the other team.
You don't have to now.
Oh, never.
Yes, you got the all hail with the championship on Monday night. So congrats on that. Well done to you, Daniel, and also Dusty May and the players. But mainly
I
you.
earned that.
Yes, you did. You know what? That team's 1-6 in the championship game, and got your second one. So congratulations on that. Let's talk about this Kansas City Chiefs team, the draft, some other things around the NFL. At Bleacher Report, the newest big board has been dropped. A couple of days ago, it came out, and also at the same time. Or at least not at the same time, but Peter Schrager at ESPN puts out a mock draft. He puts out 2. He talks about, and it's quote-unquote things he's hearing, not what he would do. He's got Jordan Tyson going number 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I find it interesting because the newest big board for you guys at Bleacher Report, the number 9 overall player and the number 1 wide receiver, you guys also have as Jordan Tyson. So what do you make of that mock? That it's the first one I've seen with Jordan Tyson in maybe a long, long time for the Chiefs at number 9. So you guys have him at number 9 overall and the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, that's probably more coincidence than anything. I'm not going to get too behind the curtains because I don't want to tell everyone what we do over there, but it does take a process usually the day or the week before to get to the big board. So having that come out at the same time is kind of funny that they ended up being the exact same thing. I think when we talk about Jordan Tyson, there's a lot of concern about the injury stuff, and because he hasn't been able to go through the pre-draft process and he's trying to make sure that he's okay. There's just been some rumors that he keeps tweaking it and he's not going to be able to be ready for right now to do anything before the combine, or excuse me, before the draft. But when we do all of this, it ultimately is supposed to take you back to the tape. If somebody runs a time faster in the 40 than you expected, you go see, did I miss that, or was that translatable? It's something that I actually watched on tape. So at the end of the day, if you don't have enough of the information available to you, you go back to the tape. And the one thing that I have on very good authority is that Jordan Tyson was rushed back after his initial hamstring injury to play against Colorado before the season ended. And as we all know, it's always a great idea to rush through injuries, especially soft tissue ones, because there's zero chance of them ever being re-injured right when you come back.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it never happens.
Never. So I think out of an abundance of caution, because we just saw Avion Terrell, who was dealing with a soft tissue injury for the combine, re-aggravate the same thing running his 40 during his pro day. It's out of an abundance of caution for Tyson to not do any of these tests and to not do anything and just stand on the tape that is out there. And the one thing that was reported coming out of the combine after the medical testing, after the interview process with teams, is that the NFL was not worried about Jordan Tyson's injuries. They were not overwhelmingly worried that this was going to be something that continuously happened. They were worried that it was going to be degenerative, right? Like there's no issue with long-term outlook for Jordan Tyson. And again, when you look at the tape and you stack him up against the other receivers, the Carnell Tates, the Mekhi Lemons, I would say even the Casey Concepcion, he's the best receiver in my mind on tape that I have watched, and that's the reason he's at number 9 for us on the big board and our wide receiver 1. So I don't have an issue with the mock of him being there because he is the best receiver in the class in my mind. We have other things, I think, with the way that mock ended up turning out that would leave me a little frustrated.
Okay. Is there anything? Because I want to come back around to Casey Concepcion and Jordan Tyson. But is there what would leave you frustrated? Because he didn't take a tackle at number 9. That's good. But anything else what would leave you frustrated there with what you saw?
I mean, we've been talking about this guy for, I don't know, months, even before the end of the season, and Ruben Bain sliding out of the top 10, and she's passing on somebody like Ruben Bain would probably, what's the correct terminology that I'm going to be searching for here? Sending me into a frenzy. I think that might end up actually doing it if the Chiefs passed on Ruben Bain, and no offense to Jordan Tyson or a wide receiver, selected a wide receiver when you desperately, I'll say it again, desperately need a defensive end. Yeah,
and by the way, Peter, just for clarification, Peter Schrager had Ruben Bain at number 8, and Jordan Tyson at number 9, which is what I was going to ask you.
I apologize. I thought he had him dropping out of the top 10. That's my fault.
No, you're good. He has Mansour Delane at 10, Carnell Tate 11, Downs at 12, Makai Lemon 13. And I've seen that a lot. So that's one of the things that I want to ask you about, is because I've seen Ruben Bain drop out of the top 10 and the Chiefs pass on him, which I don't think is going to happen, even if they like Jordan Tyson. And I wonder if the Saints, that he has taken Ruben Bain at number 8, maybe he heard some things around, the owners' meetings and whatever meetings there in Arizona, and feels like at that point that would be the pick that the Saints have. My question would be, Daniel, looking at the Rich Hill draft chart and the value of the picks, let's say the Chiefs have pretty good intel that Ruben Bain's going to go number 8 if he gets past, Washington or Cleveland or whatever. And he's sitting there at number 7, and the Washington Commanders are on the clock. From 9 to 7, it would cost you your 4th and the 5th round comp pick. In your mind, would it be worth that to move from 9 to 7 to leap New Orleans and get Ruben Bain if the draft and the board falls the way that it does, and they can move up to number 7 and get Ruben Bain?
I think so. If we're forsaking a 4th round pick and then one of the extra 5th round picks that you have, I'm pretty okay with that, especially because the Chiefs have 4 picks inside the top 75, which are the most important picks. And as long as you can keep those intact in one way, shape, or another, I'm okay with that.
I like it too. I would totally be fine with that and them moving up, because I think there's a scenario, Daniel, where Ruben Bain's gone at 4, and we're like, oh, well, okay, so I guess the next few picks I don't have to, stress or anything, because when they're picking like 31, 32, which is, 32 is great when they pick 32, because while you can stress, you're coming off a Super Bowl win. But it's like you don't really start to stress until you get to like 24, 25. And at that point, like, okay, now who's on the board that you would like? We get to stress from pick 2 on. Is Bain still going to be there? Is somebody else going to be there? Do they like Arvell Reese? They brought him in for a top 30. Do they think there's a chance that he's there at number 9? Are they just kicking the tires or doing their due diligence on everybody in case that guy slides? Trent McDuffie wasn't supposed to be there at 21 in the 2022 draft, and he was there. Maybe, Arvell Reese, there's no way he's going to be there, but all of a sudden he is. I would find it worth it if I feel like I'm getting my guy that has, impact potential at a position of real desperate need, and it costs me a late 4th and a comp pick 5th, or early 4th, I guess it's their 4th round. I'm used to saying late in the draft in the rounds. So it costs you a 4th rounder and a 5th round comp. I'm totally good with that, for them to move up to number 7 and take Ruben Bain, as opposed to even the wide receiver that I like the most in Jordan Tyson. I just think my dream is Ruben Bain, and everybody else, the field comes in second for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think that. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I just wanted to apologize to everyone thinking I'm an idiot for thinking that Peter Schrager didn't have Ruben Bain going in the top 10 there. So that's my fault. But at the end of the day, as long as you get the guy you're looking for that is not an astronomical amount of draft pick or capital to go get, and you're still able to keep the guys that are going to be probably playing a large portion of the snaps for you in the first 4 picks of your draft, I think that should always be on the table. And with Brett Veach and his willingness to move up and around the draft board, I think it absolutely is.
Visiting with Daniel Holmes, RGR Football and Bleacher Report. You mentioned Casey Concepcion, and there is, it sort of feels like some momentum behind KC as a wide receiver in this draft. The big board there for you guys: Jordan Tyson, the number 1 receiver, Carnell Tate, then Mekhi Lemon, then Casey Concepcion, all those players in the top 16. You tweeted out that if KC had a quarterback, he would be a top receiver. And, dude, Patrick Mahomes is still there. I don't understand why you think the Chiefs don't have a – I loved that, by the way. Good night.
That was people think that I'm an idiot, but I did that on purpose.
Did you?
To check y'all's reading comprehension.
I knew exactly what you meant, but I went, oh, God, I got to click on this. Oh, I got to see the replies to this.
If you guys are listening to this and you have not read that tweet, you will need to go read the replies to that tweet. It is hilarious.
It's so good because it's about Casey Concepcion. There's a video of Casey Concepcion, and you write, if Casey had a quarterback, he'd be a top receiver in the draft. You're like, well, Casey does have a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. What are you talking about? I mean, Mahomes could throw. Well, you're right. Andy Reid just won't let Mahomes do that. The replies are then other people going, well, about time somebody who's like knows that Mahomes is overrated or whatever. So Casey is Concepcion. It feels like you aren't alone in that feeling of, wow, the more and more you look at somebody, study somebody, this guy's better than what or when the draft process started. I really like Casey Concepcion as well. Is there a chance that guy's taken in like the top 15, and other teams are like, yeah, we see these mock drafts, and he's down in the 20s. He ain't going in the 20s. This guy's going much higher. Sometimes that happens with teams that are looking at it and going, there's some misinformation on that guy because he ain't going to be there that late. Is Concepcion a guy that we, in a couple of weeks, we might look at and go, wow, he went higher than I thought, and other people might go, no, he didn't.
I'm hoping that's not the case because I'd love to see him as a Chiefs target at 29.
Yeah, right.
But it's funny that everyone gets so enamored with Mekhi Lemon and his, I guess, frame. Casey Concepcion has the exact same frame. He's 5'11". He's actually a little bit bigger. He's 5'11" and 5'8", 196 pounds. He's got the shorter arms, longer wingspan, and bigger hands. But everyone wants to talk about Mekhi Lemon, and Casey's a way better separator than any of the top guys. Any of them. He's the best separating wide receiver in this class. The best. And I don't know why that's not talked about enough. I think, again, I do believe it's because Marcel Reed is not a very good quarterback. And yes, the offense puts up numbers and he makes electric plays. He's a great after the catch, but he should have had a lot more downfield explosive plays that turned into touchdowns because of ball placement inaccuracies. He beats guys off the line of scrimmage with not just releases, but pure, unadulterated quickness. You can't get hands on the guy. And even if you do, he has enough speed power to be able to get through it. And hand technique, I think, is really good. He's so quick with his hands across press coverage. That's why he's able to create separation. And if we look at all of the wide receivers, and actually not just the wide receivers, but the topic of conversation in Kansas City is, well, when it's a got-to-have-a situation or it's a third down, what's coming? Press coverage. Who can get open? Nobody. The one guy that would be able to is Casey Concepcion. So, it's one of those things where we talk constantly about, well, the Chiefs need to go wide receiver. They need this big X wide receiver play on the outside, play on the boundary. Do those guys typically separate against press man coverage? No. They come down with more contested catches? Sure, they absolutely do. But we always want these, well, Casey's small. If you watch him on tape, he actually looks a lot slighter than he is at 196 pounds. So I think this is definitely a situation where he's going to probably go top 15. And I'm not going to bat an eye, and people might be like, maybe we didn't expect that happening.
Yeah, and what I like about him, too, and I'll get your thoughts on it, because when we look at the Chiefs, it's like, okay, man-to-man separator, that's great. But the Chiefs use so much zone, and you got to find the spacing. When you watch him, is he a guy that, I know Rashee Rice coming out of college, it was like, this guy's got a great feel for finding the soft spots in the zone, and that's going to work well with the Chiefs. Is Concepcion a guy that you look at him like, man, he's got great feel to find the soft spot in the zone and sit, or move or slide right or left depending on how much the defense is shrinking some of that area, while also being a guy that man-to-man can separate, as you talk about.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things about him is that he finds those voids quickly. And because he has a great understanding of spacing, it's not just for zone, it's after the catch too. He makes guys miss, but I think he does a great job of reading the zone defender's leverage. Like, he's able to see, if I know where I'm running like a spot route to the middle of the field, I see you moving out to the left a little bit. I'm going to stop my route a little bit short, turn around and get my hands right here for the quarterback. I think he reads the defense very well, and he pairs with quarterbacks that want to get the football out quickly over the middle of the field into those zones as well. So he's going to be able to play anywhere you want him to with his size, quickness, and speed. And because he has the ability to play against zone, which, yes, the NFL plays predominantly like 65% zone, you still come in with a skill set that is valuable with yards after catch ability on top of it.
Visiting with Daniel Holmes, RGR Football and Bleacher Report. We are sitting, 13 days away, or 15 days away from the NFL Draft, 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's crazy. We're getting closer and closer and closer to this entire thing. Do you have a positional? A positional preference that in the first round, if the Chiefs come away with these two positions, or maybe one position doubling up, if it is representative players, they didn't reach for either one of them, and they get a guy that's right around top 10, they get a guy that's, late first round grade at 29, is there a specific type position that you would look at and go, these two positions, first round, they get a guy right around there? That would be my preference.
There's three, and I know that obviously they only have 2 picks, but if they got two
right
out
now
of these 3 positions, yeah, you're right. Maybe they trade back and they get more. Who knows? But I think I'm looking at defensive end, which again right now is essentially not just it would be nice to have him. You have to. You have to be getting drafting a defensive end in the first round, in my opinion. You cannot wait because you just don't have them. You just don't have them. And then wide receiver or corner. And I know everyone is just going to lose their mind. Why do you have to draft corner in the first round? You guys see Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt. Give them weapons, okay? Everyone, well, you have Patrick Mahomes. Just draft wide receivers on day 2 or day 3. It's fine. He'll make it work. That's cool until, just having Patrick Mahomes with first-round talent. Yeah, let's do that. That's like a good idea. Hey, how about Steve Spagnuolo and Dave Merritt? Why don't we get them some first-round talent at cornerback and see how that works out? Because it's the same concept. So for me, I believe not only is this corner group excellent, yes, it's deep, but the top guys that would fit into this Spag system make a lot more sense in the first round than just waiting and doing what you always do. Yes, it'll probably work. It probably will. But when you get one of these top guys, it just allows them to do so much more. So for me, it's defensive end, wide receiver, and corner.
Visiting with Daniel Holmes, RGR Football and Bleacher Report. The draft guide is out. Daniel, where can people go to find this with all the work that you guys put in at RGR for this draft guide?
Oh man, you guys, this was a lot of work. It feels like it gets more every year, and it's not just the film grades; it's the production profiles and the athletic matrix that Ryan Tracy puts together, which is amazing. You guys can find it at rogueapc.com. That's where you'll find that, as well as the athletic matrix. It makes it easy to put it all in one place. And you know what? Because I'm feeling generous. If you guys go over there right now, use the RGR26 code, you will get a discount on that as well, because we want everyone to have one of the better products out there.
Yeah.
I respect what everybody does. I love that there's so many different draft guides, but because this is more comprehensive with the production and the athletic matrix, it's a more comprehensive look at the players in the draft as well, and it's huge. Not just for you guys understanding where they rank in terms of how they produced in college, where they rank athletically, you also have a ton of film grades to go along with it.
Love it. RGR 26, because Daniel Holmes is in a giving mood because Michigan won the national championship. He's willing to give you a discount. Had they lost on Monday, that code would actually charge you more. So thank you, Michigan, for coming through.
You never know, man. It's one of those things that if they would have gotten blown out, you're probably right.
Hold on, I can't go. I just want to go back now. It won't let me go back and just pay the original price. What's going on here? It's $150 now. I didn't think that was going to be the case. Daniel Holmes is with us. Last one for you, Daniel, and this has nothing to do with football, but I am really fascinated in what took place last night after your dog got sprayed by a skunk. What are you? Yeah. How do you deal with that? What took place after the dog and the skunk had their interaction?
So first of all, we moved to Ohio a little, in September, and we noticed in the backyard, it's next to this little creek that runs through the back, and there's a lot more wildlife there. And I noticed that there's a skunk that kind of hangs around. I'm like, you know what? I haven't had any issues with dealing with skunks before. My dog will bark at whatever, but so far I haven't had to deal with it. Last night I let her out, and it looked like it was a raccoon that she was barking at, and I wasn't that worried about that. And then I start to smell, and I'm like, no, we this can't happen, and it did. It was everywhere. So naturally, I look for any kind of soap that we have to help clean her. We didn't have like Arm & Hammer soap, but we did have, baking soda and dish soap and white vinegar, which is like the big thing to get rid of and neutralize all of it. And I think the most important thing, my wife was telling me that she Googled it. If you get the dog wet first before you apply this stuff, it will embed the skunk smell into the fur, into the oils of the skin. So you cannot get them wet first. You have to mix the baking soda, the soap, and the white vinegar first, and then scrub it into her skin, let it sit for a little bit, rinse it out, and then go through with a full bath. So that was what happened last night and what my night looked like.
That's a great tip, by the way, because I would have thought put it in the bath and just start getting the dog wet and then put the stuff and the soap on there to get that smell off him or her pretty quickly. But that's an awesome tip. I would not have thought of I got to apply this stuff before the water. Oh, I would have gone down the wrong path. We have some wildlife in our backyard and our neighbor's backyard. We have some foxes that are living under the deck. They go back and forth between my backyard and the backyard next to us, and they've got their little kits. There's 4 of them, 4 little baby foxes. It's awesome. I love watching them. And we've got a dog, and so he goes out from time to time, and they're good. They go away, and they'll just jump back and forth over the fence from our neighbors into our house, and we'll just sit there and watch them play, and the little ones, practicing their pouncing. It's great. Foxes are awesome because you know what, Daniel? No squirrels around my tomatoes, no rabbits around my tomatoes, and no mice in the house. Guarantee that. Ain't no mice coming from the backyard.
I'll trade you foxes for skunks.
No, thank you. No, thank you. If a skunk's back there, I'm calling animal control immediately. This thing's got to go. Foxes, they're good. They're fine. Leave them alone. They're protecting all of our. They're protecting the inside of our house with mice, and they're protecting my tomatoes by keeping the squirrels and rabbits away. I'm good. And they're so cuddly and cute to look at. I mean, I can't say they're cuddly because I don't know. I haven't went out and cuddled with them. But they're so cute to look at and watch them play. So we've got the better end of the wildlife in the backyard. I apologize, Daniel, for that night that you had last night. So, Also,
once in 11 years, I'll take it.
There you go. You know what? Congratulations living in Ohio and Michigan winning the national championship. Congrats to that, brother. Daniel, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother. We will talk next week. 8 days away next time we have our conversation about the draft. Daniel, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to next week.
Absolutely. There's Daniel Harms. Great stuff from him. RogueAPC.com is where the draft guide is, and put in RGR26 code, and Daniel's going to give you a discount because Michigan won the national championship, and he's a Michigan man living in Ohio. That's got to be pretty nice to put that flag outside on the house just to tick everybody off.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
Put that Michigan flag out there.
Good for him.
Yeah, they'd be like a Chiefs fan living in Cincinnati or something. Oh, but actually, you know what? Ohio has success in sports, so I can't say that because Cincinnati hadn't had a Chiefs fan living in Denver.
Yeah,
would probably be more like it with the rivalry there, and you fly that Chiefs flag there in Denver. Wasn't the best this last year, but for him right now, that's pretty good. And what a tip! I didn't realize that. If the dog gets sprayed by the skunk, you must apply the baking soda and the soap before it gets wet. Because if you get the dog wet, the oils will then embed into the skin and the hair. His dog got sprayed by a skunk last night. And so they had to deal with that.
Man.
Yeah, so.
That's an outdoor dog now.
Sorry, dude. I know that you're typically a house dog. You ain't a house dog for a while.
No, you're chilling outside.
Poor dog. Probably learned its lesson that if he sees that thing again, he ain't gonna bark at it. That
Yeah.
thing wins. That's a winner right
Hey,
there. I'm gonna stay away from him.
my old dog learned to not get hit by cars. Got hit by a car once, and
Did it die?
no.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, you got hit
That's
by
a cruel joke, Sterling.
Yeah.
Well, it
Really?
learned. I had a Jack Russell Terrier growing up. Got hit by a car. Guess what it did next time it crossed the street for the rest of its life?
It
Looked
left,
both
right, left?
ways.
Left, right, left?
It looked both ways. It was like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm not getting hit by a van again.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty strong dog to be able to survive that. But there's a tip for you guys: if your animal gets sprayed by a skunk, apply the stuff before getting it wet. I would have been toast. I would have immediately brought Theo in from the outdoors and just
So you want to apply it before it gets wet?
every time. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Heading up until 2 o'clock, we will talk with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll play some clips from the bracket of sound as we will eliminate those that lost over the weekend and on Monday night, and we will crown the champion, the Michigan Wolverines, and the bracket of sound winner for 2026. We'll do that coming up in the 1 o'clock hour with Mick Schaefer. We'll talk a little Masters with Mick Schaefer as well.
Yeah.
We'll do some of that stuff coming up with Mick at 1 o'clock. Jim Nantz was on New Heights and thought this was funny. So you hear a little bit of a behind-the-scenes stuff with Jim Nantz up on the podium with the Chiefs when they're, winning and going to Super Bowls and everything, and he's always up there with the Lamar Hunt Trophy, and it's the Chiefs constantly every year. So here he is on New Heights with Jason and Travis, and talking about the different experiences on the podium with Travis Kelce.
My last Super Bowl that I called was the game in Las Vegas.
I know it very fondly.
I went up on the victory platform and someone had started singing Viva Las Vegas into my microphone.
I let that run out a little too long. I apologize about that.
It was perfect. We've had some great moments on those platforms. I never told you this. One time there was a show premiering on CBS after an AFC championship game. So I got up there with the Lamar Hunt Trophy, and they're telling me we got to get through this, make it really fast. And Patrick answers a question, and I'm looking at you as he's answering it, letting you know I'm coming to you next. And they're saying in my ear, do not go another question. So I said, hey, before we go, Travis, come over here real quick. Congratulations. And this was the first time you went on the you've got to fight for your right to party, but the F in fight dragged on so long, you've got to. And I thought, not only have I been guilty of insubordination, I've just walked into an F-bomb on the CBS television network, maybe. And I was so relieved that the word came out with an F-I instead of an F whatever. And I remember the other one was the Cincinnati mayor.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the mayor. He's a good guy.
He said, hey, you big jabroni. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, you big
Know your
jabroni.
role. Know your role. Shut your mouth, baby.
Shut your mouth.
Shout out to the Rock. Yeah.
I have to admit, Jason, I wasn't sure what a jabroni was at the time.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
He found out what a jabroni was after that. But how about the people in Jim Nantz's ear? We've got to go to break. We've got to get to the next thing. Whatever, 60 minutes, who knows what was on. But we've got to get out of here. We're out of time. Travis, let me bring in here real quick, Travis. Thank God he did. I mean, that song is now every touchdown.
Synonymous.
Yes, we hear that all the time when it comes to the Chiefs. And because Jim Nantz was insubordinate and ignored the producers to say, let me bring in Travis here real quick, Travis Kelce, and says, you gotta fight for your right to party. And now it's become synonymous with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I love that.
And the wise words for that Cincinnati mayor, know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. I said he's a good guy, but I don't know.
I doubt it. He's probably just being nice.
Probably.
Real quick, slight tangent here.
Yeah, tangent.
It's in regards to New Heights, and
Okay.
I like Jason Kelce a lot.
You don't like the laugh.
No, it's a lot. I like Jason Kelce a lot. I think he's really fun. I think he's very entertaining. I think he's good at what he does. I think ESPN has no idea what to do with him.
That's probably right.
I'm very annoyed to an extent. It's played out. He's doing the Masters stuff.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. What's he doing with the Masters
He's
stuff?
going down there, and he's... To me, if you're going to do something with him, with golf, do Scottsdale. Do Waste Management.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
But that's around the Super Bowl, though. So
I get it, but have him break down film. Let us know what the Sinners do and break down the offensive line. I think he's really good at what he does. I think he's very funny and entertaining, but the market for him, I don't think ESPN gets it. The Masters is not this jovial let's get drunk and drink beer. Like, I like that. You know that about me. I enjoy drinking, but to me, I care about the history. I care about I love the intros and the outros. I love Jason, but it doesn't fit to me. And I feel like ESPN just keeps trying to throw him at us, but without putting him in the correct role.
I think
I don't get it.
I think they're looking for the next Kenny Mayne that can do some of these fun little things and fun stories and be really hilarious.
Yeah, he's good.
And the sense of humor with Kenny Mayne,
Yeah.
and have the deadpan of him and how dry the humor was, that it just came naturally to Kenny Mayne because he was a TV guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, they haven't really had that since then. And I think with the Masters and different things, I think they're trying to figure out what the role is for Jason Kelsey. And hey, maybe they've got that in. We don't know if he can be like a Kenny Mayne and go to all these different things and be a NASCAR race and WWE and the Masters if we don't put him out there
But
and see what he does.
WWE works. I feel like NASCAR fits his vibe. Again, it's just, I don't blame him. I would totally do it too. This is not a mad at Jason. This is a more or less mad at ESPN for it feels like utilizing him in the wrong spots. And then it pushes people away from him because I've seen so much on Twitter already where it's, oh my gosh, enough of this. Stop throwing him down our throats. And it's not his fault because you're going to do it, but because you're also putting him in spots where it makes no sense.
I mean, Fox was trying to find their Lee Corso or their controversial guy, so they went and got Stool President from Barstool and brought him in to be part of the Fox Big Noon kickoff in the morning. And it was, just trolling Ohio State fans and talking about Michigan and things like that. So they were looking for somebody that could do some things that maybe they were missing from ESPN's College Game Day to put them over the top, or a younger audience, what that may be. You paid Jason Kelsey the money.
You let a lot of people go.
Michael?
I was going to say ESPN laid off a lot of journalists, and they use Stephen A. Smith on everything. I think Jason Kelsey's just another one of those guys that when you pay three guys, go back to roster construction, when you pay three guys all of this money, you need to spread them thin, and then it makes all of their coverage bad because they are spread so thin.
Yeah, and they are oversaturated with certain people. I haven't, and who knows? Maybe the Masters stuff is really good.
Yeah, maybe it's. But again, I feel like it's doing a disservice to him because the main takeaways I've seen already on Twitter have been, can we just stop this, stop showing him everywhere, and then two, can we use him? Which is my thought. Can we use him in a role that makes sense? Again, talking football, doing some of the more whimsical, outgoing things. Yeah, I'm all for that, but that doesn't. That's not the Masters. Again, I'm telling you, it can be golf too. It can be waste management. It can be certain events.
Is it okay to be the Masters on the par 3? Like if he was doing this tomorrow or Friday or trying to do some funny things around it?
Like the par 3 is meant for families and all the stories of.
So is he caddying for somebody and following somebody around?
He's wearing the Masters bib because of course you knew that was going to happen.
So it's called a bib. Interesting. So he's not just a patron. He's wearing a bib. Can't just be like wearing the caddy uniform, the caddy outfit, the caddy kit. He's wearing a bib.
Maybe this is me. Old guy yells at cloud. I just again I don't.
Or it's golf guy gets annoyed at trying to yuck up my very serious sport and golf.
Well, it's not that, but this is like the one. This is the one tournament that has the mystique, the glamour, I don't know. Again, this is
history and all of the things.
Really, it's the majors, the 4 majors. You're just like, can we just leave the 4 majors alone and have it be about the golf and not look how crazy and whimsical we are? Isn't this neat?
Who knows? This might be low key.
Look at the azaleas. Now let's bring on Iggy Azalea. Come on.
What if they did go that route? That would be great. What if they did though? What if they made the Masters closer to the waste management? Let's do it. Let's see what happens, man.
So
Not
mad.
sure if Sterling is a fan of that one.
Throwing pimento cheese sandwiches at people in their backswing and stuff. You know, you get a hole in one. Everybody throws the beer onto the green. God, it'd be
Amen.
amazing.
Chorus. This is golf, not a rock concert. People, go
Yes.
back to your shanties.
Yeah, amen. It's not stuffy anymore.
How am I supposed to chip with this going on in the background, Doug? Kick him off the tour.
I had to, hit it off Frankenstein's fat foot. You got to play it where it lands. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. And Jorge Soler and Ronaldo Lopez squared off yesterday in an actual baseball fight. We'll talk a little bit about that next. Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. More zone. All right, man, if you're out there and you are suffering from erectile dysfunction, then go to Heartland Men's Health and get it figured out. If it's happened once or twice and you laughed it off, no big deal. If it's continued to happen, then you need to figure out what is actually going on. And maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, if that happens, they have treatments with success rates if the pills or the herbals fail. In fact, they have treatments with success rates well over 90%. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Figure out what's going on and what the underlying condition is with your ED. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's only $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. If it does, there you go. They have an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up at 1 o'clock. Let's hear from last night, Jorge Soler and Reynaldo Lopez. This happened after a passed ball. The ball flew over Jorge Soler's head. Guy advances to second. There's some time in between. Lopez is looking into Jorge Soler. He's looking back, and it was sort of like, bring it, dude. And it was Broughton from Soler. Here's what it sounded like on the Braves broadcast.
Let's run this back. And look at all the time that evaporated here, just staring at each other.
Yeah, hard to see whether or not if Reynaldo Lopez had said something to him. It's a good job by the Braves to get in there as quickly as possible, get Lopez out of there as quickly as possible as well. Mike Trout does a nice job of stepping in. Yeah, he said something. So that's what you had. You had a long stare that Reynaldo Lopez took exception to.
And Lopez held on to that baseball the entire time.
Yeah, Lopez had the baseball in his right hand and was swinging at Soler. I think he made contact to his face with the baseball.
It was like Myles Garrett with the helmet.
The helmet,
like,
yes,
yeah, whoa,
that's
whoa,
right.
whoa, that's extracurricular.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But I ain't messing with Soler.
No,
unless I got a baseball in my hand.
I'm surprised we didn't hear. And Jorge just got tased.
They just tased Reynaldo.
This game's got to get over. Hey, we're calling it. We're calling this game.
Ain't no need for this. Somebody's gonna get hurt bad.
Oh, and they just tased Jorge.
They just tased Weiss. But Walt Weiss was the star of that, man.
Yeah, head coach for the was it the Braves?
Yeah,
and
or manager.
Yeah, head coach.
Head coach.
Manager.
They don't have a head coach in baseball. What are you talking about?
I love the refs in baseball too.
Yes, the refs.
How many points have they scored?
They've scored lots of points, and the refs are doing okay because the head coach
in the basketball they just tased Ron method,
they just tased Weiss.
Laid out, just a form tackle.
Yeah, he gets to Jorge Soler, gets down below the waist, wraps up, picks up the legs, and drives him into the ground.
Yeah, it was.
Then we find out last night, did you know that Walt Weiss is a black belt in Taekwondo?
No, but it makes sense.
Also, after retiring, he picked up MMA.
Also makes sense.
All right, so if I'm Reynaldo Lopez, I can be like, bring it, Soler, because I got Walt Weiss over here.
Yeah.
You may get a couple of shots in on me. I'm going to hold the baseball, and then my manager's going to come over and regulate, and it's going to be over.
Dude, that was one of the few times in baseball the fight you're like, oh man,
It was a real fight.
Yeah.
That was a baseball fight.
Semi-bush league holding the baseball. I think it's a little bush league.
Yeah, I would.
That's not in the spirit of throwing down. Like you need the full-on Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. You got to fisticuffs only. Remember when like Bryce Harper threw his helmet? Little bush league. The rule should be no extracurricular. It is hands and no touching of the hair or the stones. Okay.
I don't think it's an Anchorman fight.
It is though. No hair or stones. You can't touch those two things.
It's so interesting to see them like square up. And I would just tackle the guy, but
but like, I don't think either one started that under being false pretenses to a degree that, well, this is going to be a baseball fight, we're good. Reynaldo Lopez was ready to swing with the ball in his hands, and Soler came out, throwing a punch,
and
then,
haymakers.
As Boddicker said, just started swimming. At that point, he's swimming and loses his balance a little bit. Not like Joey Bats, Jose Bautista, that thought it was going to be a baseball fight, and Odor was like, no, this is an actual fight, dude. You want to jump up and talk smack to me? I'm gonna Tim Anderson, thinking we're gonna be in a baseball fight.
Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, we're gonna baseball fight. No, we've got an actual fight here, dude. Hold on, I thought somebody was gonna hold me back. We were just gonna get face to face, and then somebody was gonna get in between us, and then I was gonna get tough. I didn't know you were gonna punch me. I wasn't expecting an actual fight.
Basically ended Tim Anderson's career. If you look at the before and after stats, he got the bat knocked out of him.
He got the ability knocked out of him.
Dude.
The guy Odor hit him, and it was like the Monstars.
Yeah.
All of his talent didn't really go into Odor's, but he just sort of dissipated.
It just went away.
Just disappeared.
Gone.
It was like the evil spirit leaving the body. It was a seance or whatever. It was an exorcism that they used.
I just they just tased Jorge. This game's got to get over.
Ain't no reason doing this. Ain't somebody going to get hurt bad.
My first thought is, why is Mike Trout trying to break anything up? You was in the dugout.
Yeah, Mike Trout, don't get out there, man. You're going to pull something.
You just got your hand rocked by an inside pitch the other day.
Yeah.
Go get Jesse.
Somebody get Jesse.
That's it.
Come and get Walt. Somebody go get Walt. There we go. Walt's in this thing. Yeah. But Trout wasn't in there fighting, though.
No,
He
he's
was
just trying to break
peacemaker.
it up. But I'll
He was
tell you what,
peacemaker.
sometimes the peacemakers end up getting hit.
That's true. We've seen that. Who was it that was back against the net that started kicking?
Former Royals pitcher, the lefty, Amir Garrett.
That's right. It was Amir Garrett.
That was likes to fight guy. There's a great picture of him trying to fight
'Cause
the
that was
entire
Brandon
Pirates.
Phillips, Amir Garrett, right?
Well, there was one he tried to fight the entire Pirates team.
Who did Amir
Amir
Garrett?
Garrett and Tommy Pham did not
That's what
like
it was.
each
It was
other.
Pham. It was Pham. Yeah, that they didn't like each other. That's
Did they
right.
ever cross over in the Royals? I don't think so.
No, I don't think they did.
He got close.
It got close.
Yeah, but I don't think they did because then there would have been some right crosses thrown at
Yeah.
each other. Garrett's a lefty, so left crosses too. I don't think they ever played on the same team together. That would have been really, really awkward. Mick Schaefer next.
Twitter thinks he's funny.
Shame on you nerds.
His wife and kids think he's lame.
No!
We couldn't get Paul, so we're stuck with Mick.
Yep. Okay, still got it going on.
Mick Schaefer on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Hanging out with Mick Schaefer, KSHB 41 Sports Director, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk here on a Wednesday edition.
You've waved at me 3 times. What's wrong with you?
I love waving at Mick. It just makes me laugh.
You either
weird.
You either randomly touch him weirdly,
Yes.
or you
I'm
just
cut
wave
back
him.
on the touching.
Well,
Yeah.
about
So
that.
what do you want?
Yeah, it took a year, but you finally finally learned.
Yeah, it learned what consent is. Good for
Yes.
No, I've known what it was.
you. One day,
Yeah, you just
one day you were going to get there. We figured that would be the case.
no means yes.
With
For
Mick.
you.
What
Yes.
With Mick, it does. Michigan won the championship on Monday night. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody could have predicted that that they were going to win on Monday night as the 6.5-point favorites. I did think it was going to be minus the points.
That's a cover, baby.
It was a 6-point game. Unfortunately, they win by 6.
UConn covered?
Yeah,
That's a
Vegas
cover,
is
baby.
so smart. They're so smart, except for when they're not. Because that Arizona-Michigan game was not close to the line, but they are so smart. when
And we don't mention when it's way off.
Right, and Illinois was favored against UConn, and UConn won. But other than that, of the 3 games that were played, they were really smart on the last one. Killed it, nailed it. Michigan, your national champions. Mike, shall we eliminate some sound?
Mike Kell?
Do it.
Shall we wrap up our 2026 bracket of sound? Shall we? And we shall.
Just one, right?
We got 2 Saturday night. We didn't eliminate those on Monday. We waited till today to eliminate the Final 4 in the championship. So we've got Illinois.
So we have 3 to eliminate.
Yeah, and play the champion. We got 4 sound bites coming our way.
Wow.
Buckle up. Strap in, everybody. Be a cornerback against a wide receiver in the NFL. Strap in.
Stupidest thing ever.
Wearing a seatbelt is not
Should be
stupid.
a
sword.
Should be a sword. I
agree.
thought it was a sword
It
forever.
should totally
Or wouldn't it
be
be
a
the
sword.
opposite then of like you're unsheathing your sword?
No, you've already put in the
You
work.
just won the fight. You
Well,
put it
that's
back
right, so
in.
you're sheathing.
You've
Yes.
dueled him. You are
Yeah.
now sheathing
You
it.
won.
Yes.
Which makes so much more sense.
Or it should be like
Way
a
more.
than a
dual
seatbelt.
sword.
It's a lot cooler than a seatbelt.
100%. All right, so let's get into it. The Final 4, it matched up the UConn Huskies against the Illinois Fighting Illini, and Illinois lost. And with Illinois out, which one are you going to want to go with, Michael?
What bracket is Illinois in?
Illinois would be in your Sterling's traveling
being
and
bros.
hanging with the dudes, being
Guys
boys.
being dudes, ball players make ball plays.
Yep. Sterling's trips with the boys being dudes bracket, the South. So Illinois in the Sterling's trips with the boys being dudes region, the South, ended up losing, and that means the 3 seed Illinois, they are out, and we lost this sound on Saturday.
Fundamentally sound. This team is DTF, Jim. Patriots, details, toughness, and they finish.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. That's my moniker.
That's
Vrabel, huh?
Sounds very close to what Vrabel tells him, too.
He says that too.
Oh, is he? maybe too early.
Different meaning
Maybe
there.
Vrabel is DTF.
He's down to finish.
Down.
Sorry,
Toughness.
finish.
Toughness. Finishing.
Are you sure about that third part?
I'm not sure. Their statement said it was just completely casual, holding hands with reporters and laying next to
They
each
were
other at a pool.
desert twosome being friends. DTF.
Desert twosome friends.
No, DTF down to friend. They were just down, to friend.
They were so down to friend. they were friending so hard.
So hard of friends.
Honey, the text I sent her of DTF question mark meant down to friend.
Down to friend.
Like, how have you never heard of down to friend, honey? It's a new thing. Okay?
How many texts were being sent from both of them to friend groups
or like 2 or 3 friends that know where the bodies are buried. They'll all ride or die. Be like, yeah, we were there. We were all there to. Yes, it was a group. We were there.
Mike Vrabel then calls Diana Rossini huge quickly. My wife is she's going to call your voice huge quickly. Please erase your voicemail message, Diana. Huge. Quickly. Let's head to the.
I don't remember the actual conversation. I just remember that auto tune is all I remember because they made a song.
They
about
did.
it.
Ludacris.
Yes.
It was in Ludacris.
Was it?
Ludacris had a song. Yeah, it was called Sexting. The song was called Sexting.
It wasn't called DTF? Wasn't called Down to Friend? All right, Arizona faced off against Michigan, and Arizona out of the West region, Arizona, the Blow for Bane region, lost, and that means, oh man, we lost the sound.
Mendoza in trouble. It's out. Touchdown! Wow! Unbelievable! Give him the Heisman Trophy now. Give the Heisman Trophy now.
Had we known, we would have put Vrabel in with Arizona.
Yeah. Well, I think we got the Patriots connected to the right thing. I think the Patriots being DTF and Vrabel. But yes, I see what you're saying with the connected
but
to
just
Arizona.
Take that one to
Connected to
Arizona.
Yeah, that would have been
That was great.
Would have been a smart one. That meant on Monday night we had Michigan out of the Tickle Your Tonsils region, the Midwest, taking on the Yukon Huskies out of the Ryan Just Got Tased region. And Yukon, the 2 seed, lost on Monday night, and that means, unfortunately, this clip soundbite of Yukon is, oh my goodness, thankfully it's out.
Okay. Slow down. You guys all took Adderall this morning. Slow down.
I don't remember that part. I've totally heard this about 20 times. I don't remember the Adderall part.
Here come the lyrics. Scotty Scheffler.
She's off beat.
After she said, "Don't rush."
Yeah. You guys took Adderall this morning.
We're gonna try this.
All right, this guy's got it. This guy's got the beat.
We'll do a DeChambeau one.
Or a douchey one. This guy's got it figured out. Move out of the way, woman. I got this.
On the bleachers, all right?
I know how to keep the beat.
Ready? One more time. We'll start off. 1, 2, 3. Scotty Scheffler.
How do you make it worse than what it already was? Scotty! It's like he just dropped Scotty, who's falling from a cliff. Scotty!
Scotty doesn't know
Watch
how
him
to
be
keep
arrested.
tempo.
No.
Yeah.
Dude,
He's watching
I get it.
Scotty go away in a police car. Scotty!
I hated that so much.
Oh, man. I just love that he butted in. It was like, all right, I got this. I know how to keep. Scotty!
Exact same thing.
But do it worse.
You guys all took your Adderall this morning, right?
Slow down, everybody. Slow down. You guys took your Adderall this
Every
morning.
joke and everything they had planned, the crowd was just not having any of it.
Yeah, it was a mixed crowd. Like there are Europeans in that crowd that are not rooting for Scotty. And then we'll do a douchey one, DeChambeau one. Sorry. All right, that means that with UConn losing, that means Michigan. Michigan is your winner. And that means that forever, as we go back and listen to the Bracket of Sound tournaments over the years, we will be hearing this sound as the champion of the 2026 Bracket of Sound, the Michigan Wolverines. It's this.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils on every play, every game.
All right, a deserving winner.
That was Michigan. That
That was Michigan. Yep, the
that's
number 3
great.
overall
Perfect.
seed was
Perfect.
Michigan. They're going to tickle your tonsils on every play.
We get a short one after my long one from last year.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you wish. So there you go. That was, that was a big part of this last year was tickling your tonsils. You
That
know?
was a late ad, right? Wasn't that like December?
It made, the latest ad was, actually, they just tased Ryan. Like, it was like 3 weeks before the tournament. We're like, I think this is going to be a pretty high seed in the tournament here.
Is this it's unlike the Oscars in that, like, it can be in February.
Oh yeah, it is from the Monday of Selection Monday to then
sense,
Selection
okay.
Sunday.
Gotcha.
All of them can be admitted.
Yeah, you weren't gonna sit on that one for a long time.
No way. You typically aren't able to. So they tased Ryan. Did not win. I would have really appreciated that being the winner. That would have been nice if that was the winner of tasing Ryan.
Okay, hear me out.
I'm going to hear you.
Did you? I don't know if you heard
like to
Mick
hear you right
driving
out
in.
I did not hear Mick driving in.
No, if Mick heard.
My diesel.
Yeah.
I'm Jake breaking. Jake breaking.
Go ahead.
What I said with Jason Kelsey and the Masters. I like Jason Kelsey. I like him a lot. I don't think ESPN's using him correctly, sending him to the Masters. I feel like they're just because now everyone's saying like, can we chill with the Jason Kelsey stuff? Can we let the Masters be the Can we send him
overexposed?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can we send him to waste management, or can we have him actually break down football maybe for once? But no, let's send him to the Masters where it's the sacred
Waste management's better. I
Yes,
think,
but and so I find myself, I hate doing it, agreeing with the masses of it's almost a little too much now. It feels
Shrink
forced.
that game.
Shrink the game.
Shrink the game.
It feels
Shrink the coverage.
I love Kelsey, but I feel like it's getting forced now a little bit.
I agree. You need to leave them wanting more. And although you remember when Barkley did one of the matches, I think it was the one with
I think it was Patrick
Mahomes and Rodgers and
Kelsey.
Yeah, but that's great though.
Allen. That was awesome. Yes, and that fit.
Yes, it's the same thing.
It's a fun event.
Barkley did the one with Steph and Clay and Draymond.
That one.
And so Barkley and Draymond started like.
And Jason would be great.
So good.
Jason would be great for that. My point is, for basically the four majors, I don't ask for much. For the four majors, can we just keep it about the golf? Can we keep it about...
I'm trying to think, have they done that before?
I don't need
ESPN had the kind of comic relief fish out of water analyst there before?
My
Brett Yormark doing this? Like, what are we doing here?
My theory is...
You're playing on glass!
Well, I got a couple things here. Mike and I both came up with the point, or both talked about the same point, in that you're paying them, you got to use them. So they're paying them a lot of money to be a part of it, so let's find different ways to use them.
You got a draft coming up. You can send them to.
Yeah, but I think Jason Kelsey and what they believe his personality is, I think they're trying to find a Kenny Mayne that can go and do some fun stories and packages and have this be really funny. And he's doing this. He's doing the NASCAR thing. He can do the WWE stuff, and we'll send him out to the Masters
I agree
too. And
with
that'll
those
be fun.
two. The only one I don't agree with is the Masters.
Yeah, but you don't know if it's going to be good if you never give him a shot. That maybe it's like,
give him
wow.
a shot at the Valero Open.
Yes, thank you.
Let's run it.
Well, I think
like
they gave him a shot at the par 3. You know what I mean? Like, it's the par 3. So I would say maybe that was the. Let's see what
Will
he
he
does
be on the
with
coverage
this.
the whole weekend?
I don't know. That's the thing. Is if today sucked, I can't imagine they
I
would
did
be like,
love
let's
his
do it.
menu for the Masters because I believe it included beans and weenies. Because you can make your Masters meal like for the dinner and everything, and so I appreciated that.
Yeah, that's just.
But yeah, I imagine I'll enjoy him, but I'm going to say it. I agree with Sterling on this one.
What's going on
That
here?
it's probably not necessary and it might be kind of a distraction. And the best thing about those guys that are really talented like him and Pat McAfee, who is also probably getting a little overexposed, is like leave them wanting more. Don't have them on every single
And
thing.
I don't blame
even
him
though
for
they're
that.
capable
And I don't blame
and they're
him.
really good and could probably fit into any sort of mold.
Yeah.
Don't
And that's
do
what,
it.
That's what I was
Resist
sort
it.
of thinking of earlier, and I came up with the wrong name. But I think Fox, in their Big Noon Kickoff, was trying to find their answer to McAfee, and they went and got Portnoy to bring him. Like, no, we got our guy too, and that felt really forced.
Yeah.
And McAfee was like, that's just his
McAfee's-
personality.
yeah.
That's just kind of who he is.
McAfee's fun and exciting, and Portnoy can be like mean. And like,
Yeah. Yeah, and his
Not
shtick
exciting.
was just making fun of Ohio State
Yes,
the whole
yes.
time. But they tried to find that guy, and it's like, well, you were forcing it. And it
Yeah.
feels like, with the Jason Kelsey stuff right now, maybe they are forcing it.
And again, I don't blame Kelsey. I don't blame Portnoy for doing that
Yeah, sure,
because,
yeah.
of course, you're going to take the check. It's fun.
yeah.
It's a great You're literally at the Masters. You're not saying no to that.
Yeah.
I just. Again, we don't see enough of Jason doing actual football coverage. It feels like on ESPN. Yet we'll see him do stuff like this, where befuddled.
Help me out. Is this an entire ESPN broadcast, even Saturday and Sunday, or are we on to the network? Are we doing CBS on Saturday and Sunday?
God, I can't wait to look this up and see that it's on NBC on Saturday and Sunday. I cannot wait for that.
I don't believe it is it's not on NBC. I feel like it's still CBS, but I don't know. And then the first 2 rounds are ESPN.
Okay, so we got par 3 Thursday. We got Paramount Plus, CBS Sports Network, 8:30 to 10:30, and then Prime Video from 1 to 3, ESPN from 3 to 7:30. So yeah, it's going to be a mixture of CBS Sports, Paramount Plus, Prime,
but Sunday's got to be
ESPN.
CBS, right? It's going to be still
let's
CBS.
See. And
I
round
asked this
4
because
Sunday, 10 a.m. start time. Masters on the Range, 10 to 12 will be that. 2 to 7 is CBS, 12 to 2 is Paramount Plus.
So it does look like he's only doing the par 3. So that's it. He's not doing the Thursday.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
that's the
more
fun
so.
where guys are like shooting for holes in one. They're skipping it off the water, which
Kids
is
are there,
still
but
the most amazing thing I've ever
They let
seen.
some of their kids take the tee shots.
Yeah, and I've always thought too, to an extent, though, it's more for the players and their families. It feels like the par 3. I don't even know if that many people.
Nobody
care
wants
about
to win
watching
it, right?
Yeah,
Nobody wants to win
because
it.
if you win it, it's been a bad omen. You're just kind of
never won the whole
You're
thing.
just having fun. It's fine.
I asked this question if it's still on CBS because the freaking Final Four was on TBS.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why?
Because by the way, on Monday night, I go to click on and I go to CBS. And I'm like, well, why isn't the game's not on CBS? I'm like, is it on the game's on TBS this year? Like,
how hard is it? Do you think for some of those guys to make? You can't say fans. You have to say patrons.
Yeah.
You can't
It's a different language. It's like covering soccer.
You can't say rough. You can't say sand trap. It has to be bunkers. Back 9. You can't say back 9.
What do you got to say?
I
Second
forget.
nine?
I think it's second 9. I actually don't know because it was supposed to be on the line of that way. It's not saying it's different than the front 9 or that it's worse. It's
the
like
caddies are wearing bibs.
Yeah.
And they're not wearing whatever. They're just wearing a bib.
They are.
Like, what if they actually did walk around it? What if Jason Kelsey walked around with just a bib on? Well, maybe not just a bib, but his outfit and then a bib and caddy to like, oh, I thought we were wearing bibs and have some fun with that. I don't know.
That's another point. Masters would never let CBS move it to like True TV on Sunday from 2 to 6.
Yeah, or you can't broadcast it anymore.
Yes, Here we go. You can't say back 9 because it's considered too informal and sounds similar to backside. So it's second 9.
Oh, so I was right.
So you have to say second 9, patron, driving range. Instead of driving range, it has to be tournament practice facility. Instead of rough, it's second cut.
Second cut.
All
Interesting.
Right. Second cut.
Can you say fairway or is that?
Can you say pretentious?
First cut, yes.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yes.
Pretentious.
There you go.
You
are allowed.
I can't say it. I can't do it.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back and we'll actually talk about something serious with Mick Schaefer and get into what should be one of the cool stories of the weekend. Hopefully, it is one of the cool stories of the weekend. A definite rooting favorite for a lot of people, not just locally anymore. With Gary Woodland having his press conference yesterday at the Masters. We'll play a couple of clips from that as to what we heard from Gary Woodland and him giving the insight into what the last couple of years have been like. So we'll do that coming up next.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
Your ride, your way. That's not just a slogan, it's the heartbeat of Outlaw Golf Carts. Whether you want a sleek 2-seater for the course, a spacious 4 or 6-seater for family adventures, or even a work-ready utility cart, we've got the perfect ride built around your life. Choose from carts fully customizable with premium features you won't find anywhere else, like heated seats, effortless one-finger power steering, LED safety night lighting, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on premium sound systems, and yes, even a seatbelt for your dog. Built for performance and style, our carts handle everything from school runs to neighborhood cruises with confidence and flair. With new lithium carts starting at just $8,995 and flexible financing available, your dream ride is closer than you think. Visit outlawgolfcarts.com to explore our inventory or stop by the showroom at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. Take a test drive before September 1st to enter to win 2 tickets to a Kansas City football game this fall. Outlaw Golf Carts, your ride, your way.
This is Ricky Duncan from Nick and Jake's, and I'm sure many of you out there recognize my voice because KT says I never shut up. I've been bartending here at Nick and Jake's for 22 years, and one of our annual highlights is celebrating the Masters with Sports Radio 810. Join us all weekend, April 9th through 12th, and remember, Seren and Kay will be live in OP at 2 o'clock. Master sandwiches, raffle items, and drink specials all weekend long. Golf is here, and Nick and Jake's is celebrating the Masters, a tradition unlike any other.
When America needs power, Wholesale Batteries delivers. Nationwide shipping, premium brands, unmatched expertise. We keep America running. Wholesale Batteries, your power partner since 1977. Any battery, anytime, delivered anywhere at wholesalebatteries.net.
Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC is knocking it out of the park with incredible deals on new Buick and GMC models. The heavy hitter, GMC Sierra, is now available with up to $15,000 off MSRP, and the new Buick Envista is a steal, priced at under $25,000. For 3 decades, the Brogdon team has delivered all-star service and a winning selection. Come see the lineup for yourself, with over 300 vehicles in stock. Plus, every purchase is backed by their 30-day money-back guarantee. Shop robertbrogdon.com or visit I-35 in Santa Fe. Offers include all available incentives. See dealer for details. Security breaches are costly. Work stoppage, money lost, loss of workplace efficiencies. Have you taken all the steps to prevent these possible problems? Let Casey's #1 trusted IT experts manage the technology behind the scenes so you can focus on winning. It's Choice Solutions. Go to choicesolutions.com today.
There's nothing more meaningful you can do for yourself, your family, and friends than finally getting rid of that pain so they can enjoy time with you again, especially heading into vacation season. QC Kinetics takes care of your pain in the office, and you go right on with your day. That easy. So if you say yes to any of these questions, you are the kind of patient QC Kinetics regenerative treatments help every day. 1. I have consistent joint pain on my knees, hips, shoulders, or back. 2. The pain keeps me from getting a good night's sleep. 3. I'm missing work or saying no to activities that I enjoy. 4.
Par 3 contest going on today at Augusta at the Masters, and the story over the last couple of weeks, 4 weeks or so, going back to the Players Championship when Gary Woodland sat down and had the 20-minute interview that they played that weekend about the PTSD, the fear, the anxiety, what he had been battling since the brain tumor, and he had surgery on it because the brain tumor was placed on the particular part of your brain that regulates fear and anxiety. They couldn't get the entire tumor out, and so they still, had to find some ways to try to regulate it. But when you've got something there that is messing up sort of the levels of that, I can understand where you would have different days that are good and bad. Here's Gary Woodland. This is after the Valero win. He was asked what it was like playing this round of golf, or this weekend for the clip number 1, what it was like playing this weekend after letting everybody know, and I guess taking the weight off your back to a degree, that we now know what you've been battling. What was this weekend like for you?
It allows me to focus my energy on me. When I'm out here and I'm playing and people are talking to me and all that, and I'm trying to hide the battle that I'm fighting, I was wasting a lot of energy on that. Now that people know what I'm fighting, I'm focusing my energy on trying to slow my heart rate down, trying to slow my thoughts down. That's tough to do when I'm trying to hide stuff. And still, when my heart rate gets going, I had a battle this week. The last 10 holes on Friday, I teed off on 9, and some people behind the ropes got close to me, and I got extremely hypervigilant. And I'll tell you this, if it wasn't for tour security and my security, Zach, this week, there's no way I'm sitting here right now. I was a wreck the last 10 holes of that day. I got into scoring. Zach got close to me. Tour security was visual, so I saw them, so it calmed me down. I got in scoring. I bawled my eyes out. I reset and was able to come back out and take care of stuff after. But coming out, talking and asking for help, I didn't do that last year. I didn't do that early this year. And if I wouldn't ask tour security, they wouldn't have been there for me like that. And I'm extremely thankful for them. But I'm in a fight, and I'm able, with the love and support I have around me, I have hope.
That was after the win. Yesterday, he had his press conference at the podium, and here he is. He was asked, so where are you now in your battle after the win and the emotions there as you get set for this weekend?
I'm in a different spot than I've been in a long time. Even in coming back in 24, I was still fresh from surgery. I just didn't know what the future held. And now I know the fight I'm in. I'm not going to get emotional, but I know what I'm battling every day. And, people have asked me how was the win. The one thing I know is having this brain tumor and having PTSD, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. It doesn't care. And I had a tough week last week battling this stuff. It's a lot of stimulation comes with winning, stuff that I hadn't seen in a long time. And it's a big week for me here this week. The fans are very close on the tee boxes. There's a lot going on, and there's probably not a safer golf tournament in the world, and so I'm happy for that. But it's still a battle in my head if I'm safe or not, and that's a tough pill to swallow. So I'm emotional from the standpoint I know how close I probably was to never being back here, and I'm very proud of myself for earning my way back.
So he spent the last 2.5 years after surgery battling the PTSD, the hypervigilance, the anxiety, the fear, anybody that got close to him while he's playing golf professionally and publicly. And here's the last one that I wanted to play. He was asked later on in the press conference what advice he would give to people out there that are like he was doing for 2.5 years, battling it alone.
talk to somebody. We live in a world as men, and especially as an athlete, that you put your head down and you fight through it. I've done it my whole life. And this is honestly one battle that I'm not able to do on my own. I tried. It wasn't working. And talking has helped me so much. I had a big battle Friday at Houston. I got hypervigilant, extreme on the 9th hole, and I battled the last 10 holes thinking people were trying to kill me. And I have security with me. The tour's been amazing. But I talked to tour security that night, and I told them what I was going through. And every time I looked up on the weekend, my security team was behind me. Anytime I got startled on the weekend, I turned around. And last year, I didn't talk to tour security. I fought this on my own, and it was awful. Turning around and knowing that I'm safe, having somebody there with me, it's the only reason why I won 2 weeks ago. So talk to somebody. You don't have to fight this on your own.
He's going to be somebody that people follow this weekend, and is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. But as he said, it's probably the safest tournament in America is this weekend because of how exclusive it is even just to get in to the tournament. But to have something that you can't regulate, that you're walking around the course and you think people are trying to kill you while you're trying to play golf because you have no control
The
over it.
logic and the facts aren't going to always weigh into that.
You've got a tumor on your brain that's telling you, no, that's on a part of your brain that's telling you, no, these people are trying to kill you. I have no idea how you would ever be able to play a round of golf, let alone for 2.5 years playing golf without telling anybody, and only your caddy knew until the Players and the Valero was the only time the PGA security knew.
Yeah.
So for 2 years, it's just his caddy helping him the time to sort of quote unquote be the protector for him.
He just came out about this stuff a month ago.
Yeah.
A couple weeks later, he wins at Houston. I hope those two things are tied to each other.
Me too.
In that he's got this weight off his chest. It's out there. Other people know about it. He's more relieved, and then the tangible part of having the security out there as well, helping that, because I mean it's not a case of the SADs he has to get through, right? He's not just bummed out, right? This is a physical neurological thing going on. That's a baseball-sized tumor was in his brain, pressing on the part of the brain that controls the fear. And most of it's out, but there's still there's a hole there, and there's still more of it in there doing the same thing. And so I can't imagine dealing with that in everyday life and then throwing golf on top of it. I mean, the most mental sport I think there is out there, because you're out there by yourself. Great golf shots a lot of times don't even matter. Results, I mean, just the mental game that is required to be a great golfer, as well as the physical game, is amazing. So for him to overcome that quickly after announcing that he had suffered from the PTSD and he is struggling with it, I hope that's some sort of trigger in him that allows him, first of all, to live his day-to-day life better, but then secondary, go out and play some of the best golf of his life, because we saw that. He lapped the field in Houston. And I would love to see him in contention this week in Augusta, because I think that'd be one of the greatest stories in golf history.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got a major, so you know he can play.
Absolutely.
I mean, you win the U.S. Open, you don't do that by luck, and then it gets derailed with, the tumor and the surgery and everything. He told a story also before he had let everybody know, and before the tour security was aware. He told a story at a different tournament that it was just his caddy, and the official scorer was walking behind him, and he felt him right behind him, and he turned around and he thought the official scorer was going to try to kill him. And so he told his caddy, he's like, you can't let anybody get behind me. Like, it can't happen. And so then he wanted to withdraw, because he just started bawling, and he would go to the bathroom between every hole and cry. And then he's got to go and hit his shot. And the caddy was like, let's just go home, man. This isn't worth it. He's like, no, I got to be here. I got to play. So the caddy gave him his sunglasses so he could help hide it. And he's like, every single hole between holes, I would have to go to the bathroom, and I would just bawl for like 30 seconds, and then I'd come back out and try to play. And that's what he did for 2.5 years. To play golf is, well, I guess he came back in 24. So we had the surgery in September of 23. But in terms of on the golf course, playing in 24, returning, and then earlier this year before coming out, that it was just the caddy was the only guy he felt like could protect him from his brain telling him these people are trying to kill you.
Well, and a quick story to show you just how different he is now. It was February of 23 when the Chiefs won in Arizona. Is that right? Was that the 22 season?
Yep, that was Arizona.
So they were out there during the waste management tournament, and I had made contact with Gary to go out and find him before the his pro-am that day. It was the Wednesday, and I get out there late. Of course, they've already teed off, so I'm kind of like I got a pass, but I'm kind of outside the ropes and everything. I wave to him, see him. I'd met him a few times before. Mm-hmm. He waves our cameraman and me inside the ropes to the middle of the fairway on their second shot, their approach shot in the middle of the pro-am. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to be here. But here's Gary Woodland bringing out a camera crew that he barely knows, and just to do. And we did a cool little live interview because we're all hushed because his group was hitting right in front of him. And then the coolest part was because he had these Chiefs golf shoes on, and he's a huge Chiefs fan, obviously, kid from Shawnee Heights, from Topeka. Loves all things Kansas City, and then he's like, no, I'm just out here. I can't wait to for the game on Sunday. Of course, I got the tournament today and a fun pro-am. I'm playing with Michael Phelps today. And I was like, are you playing with Michael Phelps? Where's he at? And he's like, he points 5 feet in front of me, Phelps, and he's got this hoodie on, right? Because he always wears, right? Because I don't know why.
You're like, somewhere he's always hitting the water.
He's swinging, Michael Phelps swinging right in front of me. It was one of those kind of pinch me moments of like, oh, cool. I'm on the course. Granted, it's a pro-am, but it's a pretty big PGA event, talking to a great guy in Gary Woodland. There's Michael Phelps right there. So that was him just probably months before the surgery.
Yeah.
And just how he's changed now with just people being around him.
Yeah. August is when he was diagnosed, and then September is when he had the surgery because the medication wasn't working.
Yeah.
It was helping the seizures, but not the other things. Kip Henley, who is a longtime caddy in the PGA, he wrote this about Gary Woodland, and I thought it was interesting. He said, Gary Woodland is easily the worst first read of anyone I've ever met on the tour. I'd never met him, but I judged him harshly on his walk. I know I'm an idiot, and that's dumb. No one walks more like I'm the cock of the woods than Gary. And finally meeting him and being a pretty dang good bud with him for 20 years now, he's arguably the nicest guy out there. And he said, and don't miss the read either. He was always the greatest guy ever. It wasn't this that jerked a knot in his tail. He was that way from day one. And said that, he's, let's see, I don't have to know the guy to know what he brings to any person's life. I'm honored that Gary even knows my name. But he does have that just cocky, like, I'm out here walking.
He's got
this is how I
movie star,
play.
good looks, right?
Yes.
He's crazy athletic. He's got to be the only guy to ever win a golf tournament who also scored points in Allen Fieldhouse, I'm guessing.
I think that's probably right.
Probably the only guy.
Although Allen Fieldhouse been around a long time.
I don't think Vijay Singh or Ernie Els has hit a bucket on the Jayhawks.
Haven't scored a bucket.
Nicholas second this year in driving distance at 324.6. But even more, it feels like he's getting that lag in his swing. He just hammers the ball.
It's a buttery swing. It's always been so natural for him.
He's also first. I'm looking at it here. He's first in points scored in Allen Fieldhouse on the tour.
Yes, yeah. I don't know how many he had. It was an exhibition game. He played point guard for Washburn, but yeah.
I don't know, but it says he's first right here in points scored at Allen Fieldhouse on the tour. That's got to count for something, right?
Well, also, I can't believe he has the fastest club head speed on tour.
I mean, because there's some dudes swinging it now.
I'm assuming that includes guys like Bryson who are on the Live tour, but
what are his? Let's have some fun. Like, what are his odds this weekend for?
Is top 20 maybe? Top 20 odds?
Top 20, top 15, top 10.
Vegas might be, pouncing on just the kind of momentum there, and people
might have that
pulling for him, right?
He is
with your heart
110-1 to win it.
Okay.
So Woodland is 110-1.
Where was that rank roughly?
Probably 50th.
Puts him at. Oh man, I'd have to do some counting here to go all the way down because there's not a number next to him. It just
It's
has the
probably
full
it's
list.
probably about
Yeah.
50th,
Really, that low? You think?
40th maybe. I don't know. You can sway me with numbers.
About 38th.
I really feel like going that
Yeah,
far
no,
down.
that's
That's a lot of numbers. I don't like counting that many. Sorry.
25, 30, 35.
Who's the best odds to win?
Scotty.
45,
Scotty.
47.
Scotty. Chef. 47.
47.
Okay.
Like a pretty good guess.
That's
Really
really
good.
What'd you say?
I said 50th.
Then
that's not
he
bad.
hedged at 40, right between them.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
no ball.
Yeah, Scotty's 4-1, Rom's 9-1, Rory 10-1, the DeChambeau, sorry,
Nailed it.
11-1, and then
Again, I'm telling y'all, Akshay Bhatia.
and then Patrick Mahomes guy.
Batia's going to win him.
18-1.
He's going to win a major.
I keep saying Akshay Bhatia for this one, and I can't wait for him to not make the tournament or make the cut because I've been pushing hard for Akshay.
I like watching him golf is just so awkward, right? Because he's the skinniest human you've ever met. He's got these gigantic glasses. They're just regular glasses. They're not like rec specs are designed to play golf. I'm just wearing my regular glasses.
Just borrowed them from Tom Kite.
He's a lefty, and he's got this slicey swing, which you're not supposed to have, but he figures it out, man.
And he's a top 10 putter and top 10 approach to green.
That's the biggest
His
deal,
drives
yeah.
are just kind of wild, and he
Yeah.
just, do you want to know?
Finds a way.
You want to guess his what he's listed at?
Odds wise?
No. Height, weight.
150.
I'm going to say, I'm bad on height. I'm probably going to guess too high, but I'll say 6'2", 150.
Jason?
That's I was going to say 150. I'll say 6'1", 150.
6'1", 130.
Oh, my God.
No,
way.
that's impossible.
There's no way.
You can't be that.
There's fifth grade girls that weigh that much. No way. 130.
6'1",
130 is
That's
no-
why it's awkward watching him
No
play. You've
way.
just never seen a
I will
human
say-
like
He's a
that.
human stick figure.
If you ever saw him, there was that one video when he was hitting it out of like the water / mud, and he took his shirt off, and you're like, no, he might be 130.
He's a main character for
You're
the
like,
Nightmare
he took
Before
his shirt off?
Christmas.
Yeah, that was,
Because he had to
you're
get
seeing
wet.
ribs
Yeah,
and
it was just
everything.
it was like
where do you put all your organs?
you're like wow, Wembanyama looks huge
He
compared to you.
takes out his driver and then his kidney from his bag. I'm going to need this while I'm drinking here a little bit. Put that one in there. All right, get that out of there. I need my stomach since I'm going to
His
eat now.
arms are the exact width of the 6-iron he's hitting.
He's the main character in A Nightmare Before Christmas.
He is
listed
walking around.
at 6'1".
He's on the
130.
TGL a lot, man, and he it's just. I pull for him
Unbelievable.
just because he's just very different.
Oh, man, that's crazy. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling more zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You know, sometimes Twitter X is pretty good. And I'd say, like, right now, it's pretty good with the Vrabel and Rossini stuff that's going on. How true or fake, false it is doesn't really matter because it's really enjoyable. Like the photo of Vrabel with Rossini at the concert that was the CEO and, like, his assistant.
The yellow card, or the yellow, not yellow, Coldplay.
Coldplay concert, that's right.
The song they sing, Yellow, right?
Yeah, it was all yellow. It was. The scientist
Sounds
over
like
here.
yellow card.
Yeah,
That was a yellow card.
Got a scientist over here.
Too, yeah.
Place on Ocean Avenue.
Mm-hmm. So that one, and
it was all yellow card.
They now have different people filling into the holding the hands on the rooftop pool. The latest one I just saw was Chris Collinsworth and Patrick Mahomes. Holding hands together. Like, that's, you know what? That's good. That's good.
You know what? But see,
this guy.
they probably knew they were
these
getting
hands.
photographed, so it's obvious that they were DTF down to friend. Like, you
Come
wouldn't because
on.
you knew you were going to be
Friendly.
photographed, right? So
Down
obviously-
to photograph. Down to photo?
Yeah,
Were they DTPH?
they knew it was going to happen.
Down
so
to photo?
This is they're like, oh, well, obviously we knew, so no way we're doing this because
It's
we're
not
just friends.
It's not a great look right now in the fact that people are now digging up all of these clips of Diana Rossini talking
about her marriage.
smack on her husband.
Well, it's
and
not
talking
great.
about her marriage falling apart. And, well, there's a guy out there that's married to, like, an actress who's beautiful, and I'm just married to an average person who's not very beautiful. If it was, then I would...
high up at Shake Shack.
Like, I mean, like,
Awesome.
oh, there's multiple clips now that people are like, why is Diana Rossini, like, going on the air just talking smack on her husband?
It's not great when she said her favorite song was Biz Marquis' "Just a Friend." That's when we knew it was facetious.
That's when we knew it was facetious.
I was being facetious there.
She's at The Athletic now, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Not at ESPN anymore.
Yep, she is. She's at the Athletic. Yep. So yeah, there was also a clip that came across my timeline of her saying an unnamed source in the NFL said that one of the reasons Mike Vrabel was not being hired is because of his body, and he was
Why he's not being hired?
is keeping owners from hiring him or GMs from hiring him because he's intimidating. Like, it's the unnamed person, Mike Vrabel now.
Yes, exactly.
You know what the deal is, Diana?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just too good looking.
Too good looking.
Like John Hamm.
Too good in shape. I mean, too muscular, they tell me. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm just me. It's all I am, Diana. You would know that, right?
Let me show you. Yeah. In a sport where we hire football players, I'm too big and good looking.
Yes. Which, God, I have had that problem my whole life. It's like, hey, Jason, why can't you get this job? I'm too big and good looking. You know what I mean? And, I intimidate other men. It's scary, is what it is. So yeah, that's going on right now, and they have their quotes out there. They both released statements.
Oh, what are the statements?
Diana Rossini was like,
What's on friend trips?
if it wasn't for my husband being a loser, I would totally be sleeping with Mike Vrabel. Oh, no, that's not what she said. Sorry. That's what I inferred from maybe her statement. I'm not sure. God, I wish that was happening. I'm stuck with my loser husband, who's not pretty and good looking.
And our marriages are falling
And
apart.
it's falling apart.
I even get free Shake Shack.
By the way, I'm in. It's the number one.
I'm sure your wife's would be cool if you went on a work trip and you were caught holding hands like that in a pool, right? That's totally normal.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
totally good.
No one would say.
I mean, after 26 years, she's probably like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
She's like, I wish you would have earlier.
Are you picking your daughter up from school? That's all I care about.
What information is he getting?
Oh, man. Whew. It's like the holding hands thing might have been just the picture right there where they were getting ready to hug. It's the laying next to each other at the pool.
That's a big one, too.
They're just DTF down to friend.
The pool chairs were a little close. Pool chairs were a little close to be Biz Marquis friends.